From KPAX and MTN Sports, this is Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
Last week, we visited a rivalry classic between the Montana Grizzlies and the Montana State Bobcats in 1997. Fast forward 1 year to 1998, with the rivalry game being held in Missoula in a muddy classic. The Bobcats were aiming to snap their losing skid against the Grizzlies, but a late turnover and eventual heroics from Brian Ayotte and Dallas Neal sealed another memorable contest between these two foes in favor of UM. The first quarter will begin after this.
It's time for kickoff on Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
Welcome back. We are here at Montana Grizzly Stadium, Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana. Right now they are introducing the seniors for the University of Montana. I'm Chris Fagan, joined by color commentators Mike Callahan and Grady Bennett, a couple of guys who know a lot about this rivalry. One a former Bobcat linebacker, the other a former Grizzly quarterback. Guys, these seniors who are being introduced have experienced mostly good things for the University of Montana in their careers, haven't they?
Yeah, you know, it's a really special game, obviously, because it's a Cat Grizz game, but to be introduced in your last game at home and have it be the Cat Grizz game just probably makes it that much more special. And, you know, the fact that the streak is still on the line, they've won 12 in a row, obviously they don't want to let that end their senior year, so they're going to do everything they can to make it number 13 today.
As you can imagine, it is a packed house out here this afternoon. You guys commented earlier that it's tough to find the difference between the Bobcats and Grizzly fans because it's kind of raining, it's a little dreary, and everybody kind of has some ponchos on, yellow, orange, purple, all kinds of colors down there. But no doubt both sides well represented for this game this afternoon. Both teams getting ready for the opening kickoff, which Montana will receive. Crowd is going nuts. It should be a great game. The 98th meeting between these two ball clubs, and of course you just remarked, Grady, that Montana has won 12 in a row over the Bobcats, and I tell you, none could be more heartbreaking than last year. Mike, you were at that game last year where Chris Hefner just kind of put a stake through the hearts of Montana State players and fans and the coaching staff.
You really did, Chris. You know, that was a situation where Montana State thought they'd done everything they could. They put a great drive together. They go down and score with under a minute to play. Their fans and players are jumping around. They think that it's over, that they've broken the streak. They just didn't quite get over the top. The Grizz came down, took the field goal at the end, and just ripped their hearts out. But they've been thinking about that for a year, and believe me, it's been on everyone's mind since then, and they're going to try and see if they can do something about that today.
No doubt on their mind is good, bad. What do you think? I mean, obviously revenge is good, but you hate to dwell on a loss like that. Do you try to put it behind you, or do you kind of try to focus on it and say, let's not let that happen again this season?
I think it's the focus that it gives you. I don't think you're looking to get revenge. You've got obviously different players and a completely different outlet this year. But you got to remember, for one thing, the Bobcats know they got to play the whole game. Last year they had a little trouble. You know, two plays really killed them. At the end of the first half, the end of the second half, they got to put it together today.
There is your opening kick for the Grizzlies, taking it up the field. Good return outside, up near the 25-yard line, it looks like. 19-yard return on the opening kickoff. Grizzlies will come out.
I believe that was
That's Damon Parker, number 27. Damon Parker.
The Grizzlies, it looks, will start out on the 23-yard line, near the 24, as here comes your Grizzly offense, a high-powered offense, of course led by senior quarterback Brian Ayotte. There you see the starting offensive line, Ayotte and Gales in the backfield. Four wide receivers, Walker, Pacheco, Olsen, and Watkins. Very good core of wide receivers. First down and 10 from the 23. Ayotte drops back, dumps off the little screen pass. Travis Walker there for the reception. Gets it out near the 30, about the 29-yard line. That'll bring up second down and 4 for the Grizzlies.
Quarterback David Parker coming up and making the initial hit there. He's got to have a big game today outside. The Grizzly receivers, you saw it there. They throw the ball in the flat a lot. And the receivers block so well. He made a good play coming off the block and was able to shut him down for about a gain of 5.
You just saw a look at the Montana State defense. Both defenses are going to have their work cut out for them. Ayotte in the shotgun on 2nd and 4. The draw play right there. Good gain. That is going to be out past the 30. Brian Gales on the draw. 3 yards on the play. That's going to bring up a 3rd and short, about 3rd and 1 to go for the Grizzlies. No doubt this is a situation that both teams want to be in. 3rd and short.
There you see Kevin Lundstrom. We talked about him in the pregame. Great play right there. Grizzlies faked a little rollout. Brian Ayotte started to roll to the right and then gave it back on a draw, and Lundstrom didn't fall for it at all. Made the play back, scraped across, and made a good stop.
3rd and 1, opening drive for Ayotte. The past 2 games, Ayotte has been perfect on the opening drives of the last 2 ball games. Trying to keep that up. He's 1 for 1 on this drive in the shotgun again. 3rd down, Ayotte drops back. Had plenty of time, it looked like, but Montana State gets to him.
That is number 63. That's a senior. That's Ty O'Connor. He's done a great job for him for years now. He's a 41-game starter, senior, Lebanon, Montana. Coach Heisel knew that he'd step up today, and he's got a good start on here. What's important about that is that Coach Heisel was very worried. The Cats have had a tendency on defense to be a little lackadaisical the first couple series. It's important that they get a big stop like that to get her going.
Brings up 4th down and a punt. Shaky punt going towards the sidelines, will go out of bounds. Montana State will take over. 1st down. It looks like at about the 30-yard line. Pretty good defensive stand for Montana State to open the game. No doubt what you want to see. You don't want to see Montana drive the length of the field and score a touchdown on the opening drive. So now they come out on their first offensive possession. Still no score in the game. Montana State looking to get off to a quick start here. Crowd getting fired up. The Montana fans that are here, nearly 20,000 fans on hand for this game. 1st down, 10 for the Bobcats on the 30-yard line. Thompson drops back, dumps it off. Minimal gain there, probably 2. Might give him 3 yards on that play. That pass complete to Chip Hobbs, the junior from Oklahoma City.
Interesting set there for the Cats. They come out with 1 back. They stack 3 receivers to left and try and get Hobbs one-on-1 down here on the bottom. He's a big weapon for him, a big kid at 6'4", and I think if they get him on one-on-one, that he's usually going to break that first tackle.
That brings up 2nd and 7. They gave him 3 on the first play of the game. Thompson under center, drops back, going to pass again. Kind of flushed out of the pocket. Montana gets to him. Great defense there. It looked like he had a little time, but it looked like the pocket collapsed on him. A whole host of Montana Grizzlies seemed like they brought him down. Here you see the starting defense for the Grizz. Marcus Wilson, Adam Boomer, and Matt Stenow are your linebackers. Then the backfield, the defensive backs. Both teams like to throw the ball, so the defensive backs are going to have their hands full this afternoon. That will bring up 3rd and 6. Gained a yard on the play at the 34-yard line of the Bobcats. The crowd getting loud.
Got that same 3-receiver stack set again.
Thompson out. Screen pass. He's going to have enough for the 1st down. It looks like just barely enough for the 1st down. First down. That is Craig Gale.
That's a kid you're familiar with out there.
That's Craig Galley out of Kalispell, Montana. Coached him a few years ago. Bobcats, we talked about it in the pregame. They've got a lot of different sets to show the Grizzlies. It really puts a lot of pressure on Craig Paulson and the defensive staff for the Grizzlies. They don't know, and I think a key for the Montana State Bobcats is their 1st down. How many yards can they pick up on 1st down? If they get into a 2nd and medium or 2nd and short, what package do the Grizzlies come in and defend? The 4 wideouts, the 2 tight ends, the 3 tight ends. Watch that all day from Montana State.
That is the first down of the game. Brings up 1st and 10 on the 41-yard line. Another pass. Pretty good defense, but the flags come down. No doubt probably going to be pass interference on that. Pass intended for number 3, Jake Boyer, sophomore from Oklahoma City.
Damon Parker just got there a little bit early. Looks like they're going to give him the interference call. Pretty good coverage. Just comes over back just a little early.
I really feel like Montana State likes their matchups on the corners. I think the Grizzly defense is pretty solid. They've improved a lot the last 4 weeks especially. They've gotten better every game. But those 2 corners, I think they feel like not only can they throw at them with the 2 big receivers, Hobbs and Caballero, but I think they can run at them too. If they can run outside, they look for that. They want to force those corners to come up and make tackles today.
I think you're right. We've seen it so far. The Cats really feel like they can take advantage of just the pure size of their receiver. Jake Boyer made that catch there, or was the intended receiver. Originally transferred from University of Arkansas, came in as a quarterback.
1st and 10 on the 47-yard line near midfield. The first run of the game for Montana State. Not a whole lot there. That'll bring up second down. Lathan Tyler. This guy's been pretty impressive over the last few games.
Okay, he's a scat back. He's got great quickness. And the fact that not only is he playing well, but with Kinnaman still being there, I mean, he's a two-headed beast, and they can always stay fresh and keep running those two guys at you.
They really do use them as a good tandem. You know, neither one of them are going to break a lot of tackles once they make that first contact. A little lighter this year. Coach Heisel talked a little bit about yesterday. They missed the big back a little bit.
Second down and 7. Ball on the 47-yard line. Man in motion. The pitch back to Tyler again, out there near the 40-yard line.
Well, that's something we just talked about, Chris. Again, I think you'll see that sweep all day. Watch for it. I think, again, they're going to try to attack the corners and make those corners come up and make tackles.
Guys, you can tell it's sprinkling. It's been sprinkling for most of the morning. What does that have to do with the field conditions out there? Who's it favor, you think?
Well, as a defensive player, I always felt like it favored the offense because they knew where they were going. They knew where they were going to make their cuts when they're getting off the ball.
Big third down right here, Chris.
3rd and 6. Ball on the Montana 42-yard line. Man in motion. They drop back. Thompson looks one way, going towards the end zone. Incomplete. No flag on the play. That pass was intended for Chip Hobbs. If he would have caught it, it would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, it would have.
Looked like the defender fell down, and he almost had a chance, but it looked like it was just barely overthrown.
It looked like there was a little bit of contact. I don't know. He dove for the ball, the defender, and I'm not sure. Montana State, I know, wanted a flag there. Interesting decision here, whether you go for this or punt it.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a catchable ball there. I think that's why they might have let that go. It was. I think he was open, but a little bit overthrown.
Good point. That brings up 4th down for the Bobcats. Punting unit on. Punts it towards the sidelines. Pretty good punt. Looks like it's inside the 10, right around the 10-yard line. That is where the Grizzlies will take over. It will be 1st and 10 Montana when we come back. 10-11 to go in the first quarter. No score between the Bobcats and Grizzlies. Welcome back to a Drizzly Washington Grizzlies Stadium in Missoula, Montana. First quarter action between the Bobcats and the Grizzlies. The 98th meeting between these two ball clubs. No score in the first quarter. We were talking during the break about the ramifications of this game. No doubt for state pride, but this game has a playoff spot on the line for either team. Should Montana State win, they win the Big Sky Classic. Should Montana win and they get some help from Idaho State, they will be your conference champion. 1st and 10 inside the 10-yard line for the Grizzlies. Ayat under center, drops back, has some time, flushed out of the pocket, gets rid of it. Completed pass right there. Travis Walker, that's going to be close to a first down. In fact, it is a first down at the 20-yard line.
Excuse me, Chris. There's an example right there of Brian Ayat's feet. Again, pressure put, and it's so important for the Grizzlies. Montana State, I think, is going to try to sit back all day with 7 and 8 into coverage and play tight zones. If they can apply pressure with only rushing 3 and 4 down linemen and get pressure, as you see it again there, that's going to be very effective for Montana State. And again, there was pressure, but Brian Ayat made a play with his feet.
Hard to rattle him when he has such good movement there. Ayat 2 for 2 for 16 yards so far in the game. 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. Ayat in the shotgun. Drops back. Another pass completed. On the knees. Good catch right there by Justin Olson, the senior from Helena.
Ayat did a good job at threading the needle on that. If you notice, the Cats went to their nickel package there. They took linebacker Joe Baker, and they've got a slew of corners in the game now.
And that's
Josh Perkins is in there, as well as your 2 regular corners. Who else? They got 4 corners in now.
Another first down for the Grizzlies. 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Ayat in the shotgun again. The snap, a draw play.
Great play by Kevin Lundstrom, sniffing that out again. Went to the draw, tried it twice. Both time Lundstrom right there to make the tackle.
This is such a big game. Not only do we have 3 guys up in the booth, but we have someone down on the sidelines. Kara Capano is down on the sidelines. She will be giving us some field conditions, some injury reports. We'll go to her periodically. Let's go to her now.
Well, guys, as you can see, it is wet, slippery, muddy out here. Both teams in their first possessions had to punt the ball. Vision's being affected, footing's being affected. It is muddy and crazy down here. Back up to you.
Thanks, Kara. 2nd down and 9. Ayat drops back, passes. Good play there. Short pass, but they turned it into something. Justin Olson on the reception there. That will give them another first down. Number 28 receives the pass. First down, Grizzlies near midfield.
Well, everybody knows that Montana's going to throw the football. I mean, obviously that's what they do. But Brent Pease and the offensive staff does a nice job with using so many different sets. That time they inverted the wide receivers on the weak side, brought Olson in short motion, and had him run a little drag across the field. Found an opening in a Montana State zone and got a first down.
1st and 10 on the 48-yard line. 8:43 left to go in the first period. Ayat barking out signals at the line of scrimmage. Looks like he's changing a play perhaps. Another run play, this time to number 33. Got a couple of good blocks near the first down marker for Brian Gales. Up into Montana State territory. Good play right there.
You notice that the Cats get caught here. They went with a 3-man front in an effort to try and cover the pass a little better. The Grizzlies, they're just too smart. They're going to see that. They're going to go with the run when they get that.
Well, you don't see it very often, Mike, but that time the Grizzlies did bring in a tight end, and teams a lot of times aren't ready for that. They're in with a pass-type defense. All of a sudden, here comes a tight end, and they ran the ball. And that's going to be key for the Grizzlies. If they can run the ball against 3- and 4-man fronts, that'll help them a lot.
Gales so far 3 carries, 13 yards in this first quarter. Doing a pretty effective job opening things up. It looked like a face mask on that run. In fact, a couple of flags come out. I'm sure that's going to be the call, and that's not what you need right there.
Well, you see the Grizzlies running the football, not normally their style, but MSU has had a very difficult time stopping the rush this year, and that's compounded by the fact in this game that they got to look for those passing sets, and with the 3-man front, they're just going to be even weaker up front.
In talking to the Montana offensive coaches yesterday, they really said running the football was a key. You probably, as an average fan, you probably wouldn't think that because they do throw the ball a lot. But if they can establish the run, again, against a team that's going to drop 7 or 8 into coverage, if they can run the football, it just makes their pass that much more dangerous.
Seeing the Cats doing a lot of different things on defense so far. We've got a 3-man front. We've had one inside backer. Then we took the outside backer out. Got corners all over the place. I think they're trying to get a feel for what the Grizzlies are going to do, but I think so far the Grizzlies have responded and have had the right sets in there when they've tried to make those adjustments.
Not sure what the deal is down on the field. Official timeout.
Talking to somebody on the sideline, it looks like it's unbelievable, Mike, how many sideline passes have been given out. There's people all over on the sidelines down there today.
Yeah, at the MSU, they brought, looks like they brought the rest of the team. They're not suited up, but they are standing behind. We were down on that sideline this morning, and it's probably the sickest place on this field.
All right, we just made a notice here, Chris. Number 87 playing that tight end set right now for the Grizzlies is Chase Raynoff. He normally wears number 74. He's an offensive tackle. A little bit of strategy by the Grizzlies here. They think they can run the ball, bringing an extra offensive tackle in the game.
Talking to the coaching staff earlier this week, they said that probably would be a possibility that they would do that, bring in Raynoff for the tight end. He usually wears number 74, like you said, Grady. Maybe throwing off the Bobcat defense a little bit.
Well, I tell you, it's that typical University of Montana trickery they try to bring out for this game.
2nd down and 7, 29-yard line. 7.5 minutes left to go in the opening period of this, the 98th meeting between these two ball clubs. A playoff spot on the line. It's hard to remember a game. They always mean a lot. It's state pride, but this game is more than that this afternoon. Ayat under center. Drops back, dumps off a little screen pass. Montana State doesn't let much happen with that.
Ty O'Connor makes a great play there from the down tackle, gets out on the screen package. Coach Heisen that was his number one worry when we talked to him yesterday. He said, when you play the Grizzlies, you've got to be concerned. They do such a great job with their screen package, it can just break your back. Not that time.
Going back to what you said earlier too, Chris, I don't know. I think 1982 was the last time where this game meant this much. But you're right, it just makes the game even that much more special, the fact that the conference championship and a playoff spot is riding on the line today.
Ayat perfect so far, 5 for 5 for 44 yards. the senior, getting the job done. Some short passes, hasn't really went deep yet. High snap, Ayat hauls it in though. Another pass on the crossing route there. Another first down, it appears, for the Grizzlies at the 20-yard line.
Ayat looked awful comfortable in that pocket. Sat back there, very little pressure. If you give him that much time, he's going to pick you apart.
I think what you're going to see all day, guys, is Ty O'Connor's going to draw the double team. If they're going to bring 3 or 4, the Grizzlies are going to make sure they have 2 guys on him. And that time, he drew the double team. The Bobcats are going to need somebody else up front to apply pressure.
That pass completed to Jeremy Watkins, the junior from Big Sky. That gives Montana another first down, this time at the 21-yard line of the Bobcats. 5:58 to go in the first quarter. 4 wideouts, 2 on each side. Ayat in the shotgun calls for timeout. Sees something he maybe doesn't like.
Actually, that time he came out with a tight end and 4 wideouts. So a new set for the Grizzlies there, no backs.
5:51 left to go in the opening period between the Bobcats and Grizzlies. No score yet. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Washington Grizzlies Stadium in Missoula, Montana. I don't know about that guy. Awfully cold to be doing that. That's a die-hard fan, you can say that. Or just not a very smart guy. First and 10, 21-yard line for the Grizzlies. 10th play of the drive coming up.
Looks like Montana State's going to bring a little pressure. Cody Schrader going to blitz from the outside, and he's going to jump off sides.
Little too eager right there by the Bobcats.
We were talking in the break, Mike, about both offenses have done a nice job so far being innovative and coming out with lots of different sets and forcing the defenses to try lots of different sets, coming in with nickel packages, dime packages, 2 inside linebackers, 1 inside. It'll be interesting to see how both teams, especially defensively, kind of settle into one particular set.
But I think MSU has thrown a lot of different looks at the Grizzlies so far on defense. They've gone with the nickel, they've gone with the dime. I think they've played 4 different linebackers, numerous defensive backs.
Looks like there's a player down on the field. Not sure if we can make out a number. Didn't even really see what happened. It looks like it's number 33 for the Grizzlies.
That would be Brian
Gales. You hate to see that. 5 carries, 20 yards.
Gales would be a big loss, obviously, for the Grizzlies. Their fullback, their F-back, just their 1 back, obviously does so many things. He runs the ball, he catches the ball. He's really like a 6th offensive lineman when they're in their spread sets.
Boy, you can see on the replay there, it looked like Ty O'Connor grabbed him a little high up around the shoulders. I'm not sure what area they're working on. Looks like a shoulder.
The only plus for the Grizzlies is that Johansi Humphrey, their backup, who has really stepped up the last few games, and he's only a freshman. They're starting to believe that he can be a big-time running back for them.
That's a good point. He's really improved over the last few games, and you mentioned that he's a freshman, and many good games ahead for that kid. Gales walks to the sideline on his own power. Looks like something with the shoulder. We'll try to get some information on that. First down and 5 at the 16-yard line. Just under 6 minutes to play in the opening quarter.
Talking to Coach Cockhill yesterday, he said it was imperative that they get 7s when they get down in the red zone. If they get a bunch of 3s, they're not going to be happy. They've got to come away with 7.
Ayat drops back, goes across the middle. Great pass, great catch. Touchdown, Montana.
There's your Hawaiian connection, Chris. Ayat to Pacheco. Grizzly fans have seen it so much over the last 4 years. There it is one more time.
We can see here, he sits back in the pocket again. O'Connor tries to come up, ends up going to the ground there. A little footing problem, opens up the middle, and there it is.
I tell you, that was a great catch and a ball that was perfectly placed. It seemed like he maybe couldn't have thrown it anywhere else, and Pacheco hauled that one in.
Ayat throws the fade and slants, or balls over the middle, so well. He's so accurate with those 2 throws especially. And again, we talked about it earlier, his feet are always set, always puts him in a great position to make those kind of throws.
On
11
the extra
plays,
point.
90 yards.
The extra point is good by Hepner. 7-0 Montana, their second drive of the game. That gives them the lead over the Bobcats. We'll be back right after this. 7-0 Grizzlies. 11 plays, 90 yards. That is the scoring drive. 4:47 That drive started back on the 10-yard line. Ayat, the 16-yard touchdown pass to Raul Pacheco, a couple of guys who have hooked up numerous times in their career. That gives the Grizzlies a 7-0 lead. Hepner to kick off. It's important for the Bobcats to respond. We talked about that in the break just now, guys. Good return up past the 20, maybe the 21-yard line.
Le'Veon Tyler bringing it out for the Bobcats. That's one area where the Bobcats were really hurt by the injury of Ari Gray, the speedster from Deer Lodge. He was their guy, and with his wheels, he's a threat to take it back every time. Coach Heisel feels like these two guys are solid, but they're not gonna take one to the house for you.
You talked about responding, Chris. It's going to be so important. If the Grizzlies, they usually do come out early and they get rolling, especially in this stadium. If Montana State can kind of weather that storm and respond here, get an answer on the scoreboard, it's going to help them a lot.
Thompson going deep right away. Incomplete pass. Good coverage, single coverage.
That's the matchup the Bobcats have been trying to get all day. They want to take advantage of the size. So far, it's not been effective, but the ball is just a little bit overthrown here.
That ball intended for Chip Hobbs, number 8. Thompson 2 for 4 so far, 10 yards. Brings up 2nd down and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Bobcats. Thompson under center. 3 wideouts, 2 to the top of the screen, 1 to the bottom. Fake, Thompson rolls out, dumps it off. Short play.
That's a tight end, Frank Green. We got a flag, though. From that area, we may have a late hold there on the Bobcats.
Nice bootleg action right there by Thompson. Faked the run, got all the Grizzly defenders to pull inside, bootlegged out, and actually had a couple nice options. Nobody covered Frank Green out there in the flat.
Frank Green is a guy who's missed some games this year, but came back with a vengeance last week. I think he had 3 big catches against Idaho State.
You talked earlier, Mike, about the matchups outside. Chip Hobbs goes 6'3", 223, and Oscar Caballero is 6 foot. And you're looking at both Grizzly corners that are about 5'9", 5'10", so that is a good matchup for them. And they have had what they wanted. They've had the one-on-one coverage out there a couple times. Thompson's just throwing the ball a little bit long and a little bit high.
This penalty goes against the Bobcats. I believe it was pass interference on the offense.
During the
If
play,
that's true.
the offensive man inside was covered up. He caught the ball. That's offensive pass interference.
That's a loss of down, I believe, Chris. That's a very, very costly penalty.
You don't see that a whole lot.
No.
Let's go down to Kara Capano with an update on Brian Gales.
I just found out about Gades. He's out right now with a right shoulder injury. Trainer Dennis Murphy is checking it out. Right now they don't know if he'll return. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Kara. No doubt, not very good news for the Grizzlies if he is out the rest of the game. Boy, Montana was all over that play. 2nd down and 20. They try to run to open things up. Didn't fool Montana there.
No, nose guard Kelly Bryant was all over that. Never had a chance. You see makes a good play, comes off his blocker and just stuffs him.
It looks like Montana State's going to try to do a little bit what Montana was trying to do. They're going to spread them out, use that stack package, make Montana worry about the possible throw, and then come right back and run the ball against 3- and 4-man fronts.
Tyler, 3 carries for just 6 yards so far in this game. That brings up 3rd and 19 for Thompson in the offense. Hit as he's thrown, pass completed to Chip Hobbs. Not much there, not even close to a first down. He just barely got rid of that one.
Grizzly defense does a great job at everybody out there. A play like this, you see they've got some blocking set up there, but with the high ball, you're just not get a chance to take advantage of that.
It was a great play as far as the drawing up, but Andy Pedic wasn't going to let it happen. Made a great move, got to Thompson and hit him right as he threw the ball, forcing it to be high.
That brings up 4th and 14, ball on the 16-yard line. 2nd punt of the game coming up for the Montana State Bobcats.
What's important here is Montana State initially had the field position battle won. They had great field position. They drove down, then had to punt, but pinned Montana at their 10, but Montana goes 90 yards, and now field position has switched.
So important in any game, especially a game like this, is field position. You want to have to go as little as possible yardage-wise in a game like this.
Well, here's Piot. He's been quite a story since he's come in and started punting for the Bobcats, averaging 41.9. He's just done a great job.
Well, that's a beautiful punt right there, especially when you've got that kind of field position. You want to get it near the sideline, help your coverage team out. That one was perfect.
Good defense by the Grizzlies. They hold the Bobcats, and right now they have the lead, 7-0, Montana leading. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. 7-0, Montana leading Montana State. 4 minutes left in the first quarter. And guys, you hate to say that possession is so big early on, but this is big for Montana State. They need to hold here already down 7-0. First and 10 from the 41-yard line for the Grizzlies. Ayat hands the ball off.
See the Cats trying to bring some heat with their backers there. Kevin Lundstrom came and they were able to pick him up with the offensive lineman, but Joe Baker came free and was able to get a foot on him.
Well, the Cats traditionally aren't a big blitz team. Greg Salo, the defense coordinator, they may blitz maybe 3 or 4 times a game, I think. They may have to bring a little more pressure. He wants to try to keep 2 safeties back. I think if they try to man up, they don't have the matchups they want. They want to try to keep the 2 safeties over the top, but they may have to bring a little more heat.
1 yard for Humphrey on the carry. That brings up 2nd and 9 from the 42-yard line.
Just 2 down liners for the Cats right now. They're going to bring the backers, but boy, there was nobody out there with him if he could have held on to that one.
I think the defensive end here might have tipped this ball, and you're right, boy. If he catches it, yeah, that was deflected. If that ball's complete, Johansi might be running a long ways.
Big play right there.
Jonathan Taylor gets a hand up.
That's the first incompletion for Brian Ayat so far in this first quarter, so he has been nearly flawless in getting Montana a 7-0 lead. That brings up 3rd down and 9. Ball on the Grizzlies' 42-yard line. Ayat in the shotgun. Man in motion. Here comes the blitz. No chance. Ayat had no chance to get rid of that
Safety
ball.
blitz, Sean Flores. Great look. They lined up in a 2 deep. On the snap of the ball, Flores times it up perfectly. Runs through there untouched. There's nobody there to pick him up.
Yeah, just a nice blitz package there by the Cats. Lundstrom fakes like he's going. He steps back and drops into coverage, and Flores just comes clean.
Second sack of the game so far for the Bobcats. That brings up 4th down and 19, and the punting unit on.
That's just what we talked about. Montana State responding. Great job by their defense. Now their offense needs to come out. And Mike, I know you and I talked a little bit about their offense maybe settling into one thing and kind of attacking the Grizzlies here.
They need to do it. Boy, what a great punt. Dallas Neal, 51 yards. Good coverage. There was no chance for Oscar Calabro. Oscar who? Oscar Calabro.
Caballero.
There you go.
That's what I'm here for, guys. We talked about that being such an important possession for Montana State, and they came up big, what with the tipped ball on the screen pass that was intended for Humphrey, and then the sack on 3rd down. Now it's up to the offense to see if they can't muster up a lengthy drive and keep the Montana offense off the field.
The Cats really need to get something going on this possession.
This time
New look for...
Yeah, sorry, Mike. This time they've come out with another new look. 5 wideouts, nobody in the backfield.
Thompson nowhere to go. That's one of those sacks that looks like you can attribute to the secondary.
Exactly. Great coverage downfield by the Grizzlies. It almost looked like Rob bailed a little bit too early, and now it looks like they're going to go into a no huddle. So again, lots of stuff being shown here by the Montana State Bobcats on offense.
You can't hold anything back in this game. 2nd down and 11 on the 19-yard line for the Bobcats. Thompson in the shotgun. Ball complete to Chip Hobbs at the sideline. We talked about it earlier. That seems to be their go-to receiver right there.
Damon Parker on the coverage. Just a nice little out there.
When you spread the field with 5 wideouts like that, you force them to either just go straight into coverage and cover you with really a lot of one-on-ones, or to try to bring heat. That time they just went one-on-one, and again, Chip Hobbs is a good matchup for the Cats all day.
Nothing fancy about that play. Thompson goes up the middle, trying to get the 1st down. It appears that he will have it. Ball up, 31-yard line is where they say he got to. That'll bring up a 1st down and 10 for the Cats. 7-0 currently. Montana leading the Bobcats. Less than 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
Well, this no-huddle package puts even more pressure on the Grizzlies to switch packages in and out. Now they can't. They can't even huddle up. They've got to do it on the go. Good call by Montana State to go with the hurry-up offense.
5 wideouts, but flags on the play.
Yeah, I think our right tackle for MSU, Mike White, got off a little early there. That's a costly penalty when you want to come back and try to put a drive together. You don't want to get one like that. It's unusual for the Cats. They're the least penalized team in the league. But that's their 4th penalty today, and it's cost them 30 yards.
It kind of surprises me, Mike, that the Bobcats aren't really trying to run the ball at the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have gotten a lot better, but the rush defense has kind of been their weakness all year long, and I really thought Montana State would try to run at them, but boy, they're trying to throw almost every play here.
1st and 15. Thompson gets some running room. Kind of made something out of nothing there up near the 1st down marker. Might have been tripped up before he got there. Nonetheless, he's going to be close to the yard marker.
What a great play by Compson. He showed a little bit of, that's usually what Ayat does. It looked like they had him, brought a blitz from the outside. Steinau almost gets him. Then I thought for sure Beeler was going to get him there, and then he escapes out and makes a great run on the play.
There's one of those instances where the wet field conditions might have cost Montana a sack right there.
Yeah, you're right, Grady. That's been almost one of the knocks on Compson, which I think is a little bit unfair that he's not that fleet of foot, but made a great play there just to get out of the pocket, let alone to nearly pick up the 1st down.
Well, the main thing about Compson, I think, over his career, I mean, I'm so proud of him as far as he's made the state of Montana proud. He's just a hard-working young man who, he's a workman's type quarterback. He's not flashy, and sometimes that bothers the average fan because he doesn't make these dramatic plays. But the fact is he gets it done, and he's produced so much for Montana State that, and if you're a Bobcat fan, you've got to be a big fan of Rob Compson.
You really do, Grady, and you mentioned it in the opening today that he's a little bit underappreciated. I think that nothing could be more true. You know, we got thrown to the wolves a little bit when Montana State was coming along and had to come in and play as a freshman, and has really grown up, and I think you can attribute a lot of the success that their offense is having now to his maturity.
2nd and inches for Montana State. Ball on the 41-yard line. Minute 12 to go in the 1st quarter. Another quarterback sneak, and Compson's going to have it. Should be plenty for the 1st down.
I think that's a smart play for the Bobcats. We've seen that twice now on this drive. Just they got the guys out there. You can take a chance, put the ball in the air, but I think it's a smart play. Get the 1st down, keep things moving.
And Adam Boomer, who's been a really great story for the Grizzlies, who's played so well at middle linebacker there, comes up and says, "Hello, Mr. Compson."
5 carries for 18 yards for Compson so far. A little unordinary. This time going to the air. He's got a receiver. Chip Hobbs, it looks like he fumbled the ball. He did, but Montana State falls on it and probably gains an extra 10 yards.
Caballero, the other receiver, was there to pick that up. Great play across the middle, using his size again.
Great play by the safety here to come in and strip the ball. I'm not sure exactly who does get it, but I guess it's
that's Damon Parker.
Yeah, Parker does a great job stripping it. And like I said, there's Caballero there to pick it up.
Well,
Johnny on the spot right there.
It's a fortunate break for the Bobcats. Let's see if they can make something happen.
Less than a minute to go in the opening quarter. 7-0 Montana leading the Bobcats. 1st down and 10 on the 10.
Quarterback draw. Good call down by the goal line.
We talked about Compson's maturity there. If we watch, we'll see it on the replay. Shows a lot of patience there, waiting for that lineman to get out in front of him.
Well, you're in the no-huddle offense. You've got 5 wideouts. You're moving the ball. All of a sudden, the Grizzlies are worried about coverage. You get down to the goal line area, and now you call the quarterback draw. Very good call. I'm surprised actually that Montana State is staying with the no-huddle 5 wideouts. I thought they may now go to more of a power set, but quarterback sneak, he might be in.
No word from the officials yet. I tell you, if he didn't get in, he's going to be darn close. I think they're signaling that he hasn't gotten in.
Well, this may come to quite a surprise for a lot of Bobcat fans, but Compson's your leading rusher, Montana State. 6 carries now for probably about 21 yards.
That is the end of the first quarter. Montana State driving. They're inside the 10, 3rd and 1, 7-0 Grizzlies leading right now. We'll be back with second quarter action. Stay tuned.
Get ready for the second quarter as Grizzly Gridiron Classics continues.
Welcome back. Chris Fagan here, play-by-play, joined with a couple of guys who know something about a Grizzly Bobcat rivalry, Mike Callahan and Grady Bennett. 1st and goal on the 1-yard line for the Bobcats, trailing 7-0.
On this drive, Montana State offensive line has just owned the Grizzly defense, but I'm not sure if they owned them on that play.
Awfully close, but no word on the officials. Doesn't look like he got in. That'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, the Grizzly defense, they brought everybody up on the line of scrimmage. I don't think they had any doubt what was coming there. We've seen it 4 times on the drive already. The sneak, I think we may have to try something a little more creative.
It's been surprising how many times Compson has actually carried the ball so far this game in comparison to the running backs for the Bobcats.
2nd and goal, 1-yard line.
Go with the
Looks
sneak
like
again.
he got in.
Wow, I don't think so.
Got to give a lot of credit to that front of the Grizzlies.
Montana doing a great job keeping them out.
You see on the replay here, boy, tough to tell. Being a Bobcat, I'm going to say it looked like he got in.
Well, the Montana State fans might be getting tired of that quarterback sneak call. They're saying give it to the running back.
I'm not sure how many straight times he's carried, but Compson has carried 9 times so far for 26 yards. This time they go to the backfield. No doubt about that one. Touchdown, but it looks like a flag on the play.
The linesman here on the near side threw it in a little bit late. Which tends to, well, the Bobcat players are jumping up and down like they think it's going the other way. Offsides defense. Touchdown Bobcats.
What a drive by Montana State, guys. Not only do they stop the Grizzlies when they were down 7-0, but it's so important to drive the length of the field like they did because it keeps Montana's high-powered offense off of the field. Plus, you put 7 up on the board, it looks like, to tie the game.
It really is. You know, we talked about defensively. They had to make a big stop. They did it. They gave the offense the ball, and the offense put a drive together that answered the call here. Very timely.
They had 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. It wasn't very easy to get in, but they did get in nonetheless.
Well, that drive
for the extra point to tie the game.
That drive right there is a good example of Rob Compson and his leadership. It wasn't a pretty drive. There wasn't any really fantastic looking plays, but Rob Compson gets the job done, drives the Cats down the field, ties the game.
Touchdown Montana State. That ties the game. 7-7 is where we stand. 13:30 left to go in the first half. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. Travis Wright gets into the end zone for the Bobcats. That ties the score at 7. After a couple of failed quarterback sneaks, they hand the ball off to the fullback. 10 plays, 80 yards, 4 minutes. The Bobcat offense had the ball. 1-yard touchdown run by Travis Wright.
Short kick. They've got some room. He's got a seam. I'll tell you, if Noel Kubek doesn't get an arm on him, he looked like he was off to the races.
Atu Molden's been a big surprise for the Grizzlies back there returning kicks. He's done a great job, and you're right. 1 arm tackle away from maybe making that into a big play.
Well, you can see the Bobcats today. Here you can see Noel Kubek should come from the right side of your screen. Oh, excuse me, that wasn't Noel. That was number 2. That would be Duncan McLean.
Duncan McLean, another Flathead High product. He was actually my first quarterback that I coached in Kalispell, and he told me to give him some kudos today. So, hey, Duncan, nice job on the special teams. He's actually been a leader for those Bobcat special teams all year.
34-yard return on that play. That's going to set up 1st and 10 Looks like there's a personal foul on Montana State. There was a flag on the play on the kickoff. The officials conversing over it.
Dead ball, personal foul was on the receiving team.
Now see, there you go, Chris. You're falsely accusing my Bobcats of making some play like that. I'm a little bit hurt. I'm glad we've got it straightened out.
Those are key penalties, too, for both sides. In a game like this, those kind of mental mistakes can cost you so much. Again, the Grizzlies have great field position. They're up at the 45, and now they're going to be backed up. I guess 35. Now they're going to be back on their own 20.
Well, coming up toward the end of the first half, we'll take a look back at a key play from the opening half with our Noon's Convenience Store's play of the first half. My apologies, Mike. I jumped the gun.
Apology accepted.
Well, now it's time for the Grizzlies to respond. The Bobcats did a great job. Defensively, they responded, got the ball back for their offense, and they went down and tied the score. Now let's see if the Grizzlies can respond to all that and get something going again on offense.
4 wideouts, 3 at the bottom of your screen, 1 at the top. Man in motion, Ayat under center, drops back. There comes the pressure.
The senior out of Miami. It's a great play. The Cats go with a little bit different look there. They go with the 3-man front, but they take the outside backer, Amato, and put him down in a stance, and he actually just comes clean.
3rd sack of the game for Montana State. They're doing a great job of not giving Ayat time. When he has had time, he's been nearly flawless on his passes.
It looks like the communication of the offensive line was just off there, Mike. The Scott Curry, the left tackle, stepped down inside and let Amato run free clean. Nobody touched him.
Same look on defense.
A handful of wide receivers for Montana. Ayat drops back, completes the pass out near the 15-yard line.
That's cornerback Robert Carter coming up to make the stop for the Bobcats.
Justin Olson with the reception there.
It brings up a 3rd and long. I'm sorry, is it 2nd or 3rd? I think it's 3rd. 3rd and long for the Grizzlies, and that's exactly where the Bobcats want to have the Grizzlies all day long. If they can have them in 3rd and long, obviously the Grizzlies like to throw, but now they have to. And the Bobcats can do a lot of different things with their defensive package and bring some funny stunts and really cause the Grizzlies some trouble.
Well, let's see if the Bobcats try and bring some heat again.
4 wideouts, 1 back in the backfield with Ayat.
And here comes that pressure you talked about, Mike.
Across the middle, wide open.
Jeremy Watkins, number 4. You know, Jeremy Watkins, I was talking to Billy Cockrell yesterday. Jeremy Watkins has really become the Grizzlies' big play guy. Ayat's obviously a great player. They're loaded with good talent on offense. But Watkins is their go-to guy. Right there, 3rd and 15. They've got to have something. Jeremy Watkins is the guy that Brian Ayat looks to make the play.
Noel Kubeck does make the stop, but just giving a little bit too much space there. Tough to break on the ball today with that field conditions, and you just can't give them that big a cushion.
And they did bring a stunt, like you said, Mike, that time. But that time the Grizzlies picked it up.
Yeah, they brought both backers inside, but no go.
We talked about giving Ayat time. When he's had it, he's 9 for 10 with a touchdown. But he has been sacked so far 3 times for a total of 21 yards. First down, Ayat going deep.
Just threw that one a little bit too far inside. Usually, like I said earlier, he throws the fade ball so well. I can see him looking at his hands right now. He's kind of looking down like, oh man, that one slipped. But Watkins ran by the corner there. If he throws it outside like he usually does, that might be a big play.
Looks like he had a step on him, just a little underthrown.
Grizzlies going back to that matchup again. They've got Watkins on Kubeck. A little bit tighter coverage at that time, but I agree, well-thrown ball. I think we'd have had trouble.
Kubeck's been a good story for the Bobcats out of Billings West High School. He's done a nice job. I think played quarterback down there, and now he's a corner and he's doing great things.
Not sure if that pass was completed. I'm not sure the referee. No, signals incomplete pass. Pass intended for number 88, Raul Pacheco, who caught the touchdown ball on the Grizzlies' 2nd drive of the game.
That play's been one that's been really successful for Montana this year. Little bootleg action, fake the run. Brian Ayat comes out and puts him one-on-one with an outside linebacker or a defensive end, where he's really dangerous because he can do so many things with his feet running the football. Plus, of course, he's got his receivers downfield running routes.
Ball just short hopped Pacheco there. That brings up 3rd and 10 on the 34-yard line. On this drive, they've had a couple of 3rd and longs. They responded on the last one. Let's see if they can do the same here. 3 wideouts at the top of your screen, 1 guy in motion. Ayat drops back across the middle, pass completed to number 4. Jeremy Watkins has some running room into Montana State territory, down around the 40-yard line. Good route, good job of running after the pass there.
There is
Watkins.
a flag down back here, Chris, in the backfield. I'm not sure what it is. It looks like it's going to be personal foul on Montana.
Well, that's a big break for the Bobcats, that play coming back. Watkins just does a great job coming over the middle. He's a great receiver for the Grizzlies. He gets that inside release, and he can take you to the trouble.
It'll be interesting to see what the personal foul was. Normally when it's that deep in the backfield, I was expecting holding, but to see a personal foul, there must have been a little action after the play that time, after the pass.
Montana shooting themselves in the foot on that one. Watkins had a sure first down into Montana State part of the field, but it will be brought back due to a penalty.
And again, not only brought back, but way back. A 3rd and 10, the penalty's back 10 yards from there. Now you march that, boy, you're looking at a huge, huge loss.
11:04 left to go in the second quarter. 7-7 is our score in this, the final regular season game for the Montana State Bobcats and the Montana Grizzlies. Mick Dennehy talking it over with the officials.
Well, here we got the replay. Let's see if we can pick up what happens. Ty O'Connor looks like he's coming free. Can't pick it up from that.
But again, there's Jeremy Watkins on a 3rd down when they need it. Oh, it even looked there like Lundstrom had a little activity
By the offense.
after the play, but
15-yard penalty. Will be
big
half the
play for the
distance
Bobcats
goal
right
inside
there.
of the 5.
Instead of a 1st and 10 on the Bobcats' 40-yard line, it is now 3rd and 32 on their own 12 for the Grizzlies.
You can make sure that safety, Steve Salo, this time will be well over the top and doubling Jeremy Watkins on this play.
Ayat drops a little bit of pressure. He loses the ball. Not sure if his hand was hit.
They're going to call that an incomplete.
Hard to tell from up here what exactly happened. I just saw the ball pop loose. They're saying his arm was in motion.
Let's see who puts a hit on him to knock this thing loose. Nope, the ball just comes clean. Kinnaman as well as another Bobcat lineman were right there. I'm trying to see who it was. You see Kinnaman making a good rush there, and then I think, is that Sean Ross coming from the outside? No, that's once again Ty O'Connor.
Well, that's
boy, I tell you, he is
Grady, I
great
saw
game.
your face, and you're not so sure about that call, it looks like.
That's a tough call, Chris. I mean, his arm was going forward, but he flat dropped the ball. I mean, he just let it drop out of his hands. That could have been a fumble.
46-yard punt for Dallas Neal. Oscar Caballero will bring it to the Grizzly 46.
7-7 is our score. The 98th meeting between these two state rivals. We'll be back with the rest of the first half. Welcome back to Washington Grizzly Stadium. If you weren't with us earlier, Brian Gales, the senior running back for Montana, went out with a shoulder injury. Let's go down to Kara and see what the status is with Gales.
Well, guys, I just got a better update from trainer Dennis Murphy on the Grizzly side. Brian Gales has separated his right shoulder. They'll have to find out at the half whether or not he'll be able to return for the second half of action. Back up to you.
Thanks a lot, Kara. Montana State tries some shenanigans there, but the Grizzlies were all over that. They tried the reverse.
Great play by outside linebacker Marcus Wilson, I believe. Yeah, just makes a great read on the play. Sees it all the way and gets him in the backfield for a big loss.
We didn't really get to, with the tackle back there, we didn't really get a good look at it, but I'd be willing to bet that he was in here to throw the ball. They've said all year he's got a great gun, and I think that we're going to see that one go up top.
I've really been impressed so far with all the things Montana State has done on both sides of the football. Again, there's another new set, a trick play. Great call on first down. Marcus Wilson just happened to snuff it out.
Looks like there was offsides on Montana there. A couple of flags come out. In fact, 3.
I think you're right. I think that was Andy Pedic that got a little jump on it. Of course, he's pointing at the Bobcats. We're having a little finger pointing contest.
Well, usually when they blow that dead, though, that might mean that there was some offensive movement, which if he jumps off sides, they'll usually let the play go. We'll have to see.
I tell you guys, Brian Gale's going out with the shoulder injury. Not sure on his status. That's a big blow if he can't come back for the Grizzlies.
That really is.
Defense, 5-yard penalty.
Well, the Bobcats get a little bit back there, but they're still got a long way to go here after that big sack by Wilson.
Talking about Brian Gales again, you know, in the one-back offense, that one back has to do so many different things. Obviously, he runs the ball, but he again is kind of like the sixth offensive lineman, does so many pass protection things, and then also catches the ball quite a bit. So the fact that they're losing that much experience, that will hurt the Grizzlies.
Brings up 2nd and 18. Ball on the 44-yard line. Thompson drops back. Looks like he's going deep for Hobbs. Ball well underthrown. Flags come out, though.
Looks like an interference call. I believe we had Miller and Gaines there. I think they're going to call it on Gaines. The ball was thrown pretty short here. I think you'll see on the replay.
Not sure if Hobbs would have caught that one, even without the interference.
Well, you can see he's into him clearly a little early. Hobbs makes a good effort there to come back for the ball and make a play on the short pass.
Well, right now they're even talking about, I think they may be calling that a completion. I'm trying to look on the replay. Hobbs might have gotten his arms underneath the football and may have caught that.
Boy, I tell you, if he did, it would have been a heck of a catch.
Okay, I guess not. I wasn't sure. For a while they had it marked down there and the Grizzlies were thinking they were saying it was complete, but definite interference. The ball hung up there quite a while and it was thrown short. It looked like a Grizzly DB would have had a shot of play on it, but
Rain still coming down fairly steadily in this game. It's pretty much rained all morning. You can see the field conditions
15-yard penalty.
getting sloppy. I'm sure by the end of the game it'll be a little bit worse.
well, right now one of the biggest stories in the football game obviously is the penalties on the Grizzlies. I'm not sure stat-wise what the comparison is, but they have hurt themselves. That's the 5th one for 76 yards. And not only are they big penalties, but they've come at crucial times on both sides of the football. And it's really giving Montana State the advantage right now, and they're taking advantage of it.
1st and 10, ball on the 41-yard line. Sevens on the scoreboard. 9:24 left to go in the first half. Bobcats try to run the ball. Not a whole lot there. Down around where the field conditions maybe are a little worse. Trying to get traction, I'm sure, is a problem down there.
Great play by either Kelly Bryant or Kelly Martin there. I'm not sure which one got over. I think it was Tyler Martin. He's been a great player for the Grizzly lineman this year. And maybe the Bobcats are right, Mike. Maybe all that throwing is for a reason.
Well, it sure looked like it there. That's really the first time we've seen the Bobcats come out in a traditional set and try to run the ball on a straight dive play. Not much success there, but I think they're going to have to try that more.
Check out the formation at the top of your screen. 3 wide receivers stacked. Thompson drops back. Completed pass this time to number 9.
That's Jake Boyer.
I think that's Caballero, number 9.
Excuse me, you're right.
That was a very good route. They ran the stack package again and kind of split all 3 receivers, and then they sent a back out of the backfield. Good route, good concept there by McElway, the offensive coordinator for Montana State.
We've seen a lot of that set today where they get that 3-man stack. I believe that's one of the first times we've actually seen them go back to the 3-man side. They've been trying to isolate Hobbs down here on the bottom.
Hobbs at the bottom of your screen. Once again, the 3 stacked wide receivers at the top. Thompson under center, 1 back. Drops back, screen pass. Montana almost put a hand on that, but the pass is completed and taken out of bounds.
Chris Williams on the reception there for the Bobcats. Thompson is really spreading it around today. We've seen a lot of receivers catching the ball.
Again, a good concept by the Bobcats. Instead of running the ball on first down and picking up 3 or 4 yards, they're going to throw that little quick screen, get some 5 yards now. Here's what we talked about earlier, 2nd and 5. I think the Bobcats can do a lot of things on 2nd and 5. That first down is a key play for them.
There you see Thompson's stats, more than 100 yards in total offense. 1 back, Thompson takes the snap, hands off. Again, not a whole lot there on the run. It was 2nd and 6. That brings up 3rd and maybe got a couple there.
You see here, Andy Pedic does a great job. He comes from the backside in, comes all the way down the line of scrimmage and wraps up Kinnaman for little or no gain.
brings up 3rd and 4, ball on the 19-yard line. 7:48 left to go in the opening half. 7-7, 98th meeting between these two ball clubs. Both teams come in 7-3, 5-2 in the Big Sky. This game for a playoff spot.
First time we've seen the eye. Here's Travis Wright in to lead block. They throw out in the flat to Caballero. He's got it at the 8, first down.
Good call there by the Bobcats. Down inside the 10. Since giving up the 90-yard drive to the Grizzlies that put them down 7-0, Montana State has really responded both on defense and especially on offense.
I'll tell you, these two wideouts are outstanding for Montana State, Hobbs and Caballero, and they are great players. Not only do they have the size matchups, but they run good routes and both catch the ball very, very well.
Thompson 8 for 10, 89 yards so far in the first half. First and goal from the 7. They hand off. No word yet.
Touchdown, Montana State.
That's Eric Kinnaman. That's a little bit more of the traditional style Bobcat football that you're used to.
Cliff Heisel's ball club goes up 13-7, pending the extra point.
The one thing I think about Kinnaman, watching him over the years, he is a very good goal line runner. When he gets down in the red zone, I know last year against the Grizzlies he had a nice touchdown run. Similar to that, he just kind of is patient, finds the hole, then makes a good cut and explodes through it. Very good in the red zone.
That was just a great job by the Bobcat offensive line. We haven't talked much about them today, but they've really come to play as a unit this year and have done an outstanding job, and they just buried a few Grizzlies on that one.
Kinnaman just 3 carries so far on the game. He's got 10 yards, but he gets that 7-yard touchdown to give Montana State their first lead of the game. 14 straight points for the Bobcats. They lead the Grizzlies by 7, 14-7, 7:24 left to go in the first half. We'll be back right after this. Here is our Noon's Convenience Stores play of the first half. It is the play that gives the Bobcats their first lead of the game after falling behind 7-0. Eric Kinnaman goes in from 7 yards out for the touchdown, gives the Bobcats their first lead of the game. That is our Noon's Convenience Stores play of the first half. That drive was 7 plays, 48 yards. It took up 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Kinnaman, the 7-yard touchdown run.
And Mike, you talked about it. You're exactly right. That Montana State offensive line has moved the Grizzly defensive line. On those quarterback sneaks, they're moving them off the ball. And on that run, they're moving them off the ball, doing a good job of pass protection. Right now, that's where the battle's being won, up front.
Yeah, you could really see it when you saw that replay on the touchdown. That center, Brent Ludwig, the junior from Rochester, Minnesota, just drove one of the Grizzly linemen down and opened that hole up almost by himself. He's a great story. Moved over from tackle this year, was initially a concern for Coach Heisel because of the move, and has turned out to be their most consistent offensive lineman.
Again, the Bobcats come out in the dime package there with 6 defensive backs on first down, and the Grizzlies are able to run the ball successfully and get 6. And again, we talked about that. If they can run the football against those nickel and dime packages, they'll have more success on second and short.
Johanse Humphrey with the carry there, the redshirt freshman from Eagle Creek. Gets 6 yards on the play. That brings up 2nd and 4. Ball on the 45-yard line. Grizzlies start this drive with pretty good field position after the kickoff. Ayat in the shotgun for the Grizz.
Looks like Ayat's changing the play. The Bobcats have come back with 2 linebackers and look like they're going to put a little heat on. Now they come out of the blitz and force Ayat to take a timeout. Great job by Montana State defensively.
I believe that's the 2nd timeout of the half for the Grizz. 14-7, Bobcats leading the Grizzlies. We'll be back with the rest of your first half highlights right after this. Guys, we were talking about it early in the game and just a few minutes ago. Field conditions awfully muddy at certain parts of the field. 2nd and 4 for the Grizzlies after the timeout. Ayat hands it off to Johanse Humphrey again. This time gets some blocks, makes something out of it. He has the first down out past midfield. Good play there by Johanse Humphrey.
Grizzlies ran a little counter play. That's something that they used to run quite a bit in the past, but kind of went away from it. You can see Leif Thorson, guard, leading up there and kicking out. Great job there on the counter play. Johanse runs up in the hole and gets a good gain.
3 carries, 15 yards so far in the first half for Humphrey. That gives the Grizzlies a 1st down and 10. Ball on the Bobcats' 45-yard line. 6 minutes, 24 seconds left in the first half. Bobcats leading 14-7. One back, looks like Humphrey. 3 wide outs. Ayat drops back, looks for number 28.
Justin Olson slipped down in the play. Again, the Bobcats bringing heat. Number 31, Mike, who is that there? You're looking.
That's Robert Carter. You can see him. He comes off the corner and brings it up the middle. They do a nice job of picking him up and chopping him, but I think he forced Ayat to get rid of that ball a little bit sooner than he would like.
One of those instances where the field conditions caused the incomplete pass. I believe that is the 4th straight incomplete pass for Brian Ayat. After starting off 9 for 10, he has thrown 4 consecutive incomplete balls. 2nd and 10, ball still on the 45-yard line.
We talked earlier about Montana State not being a big blitz team, staying with traditional packages, but here they're bringing heat almost every play, and it's working for them.
Completed pass across the middle there. Jeremy Watkins with the completion brings up a 1st down for Montana.
It looks like the Grizzlies have found a matchup that they like. They're going to go with Watkins on Colbeck. If they can get man-to-man out there, I think they feel like that's a matchup they can maybe take advantage of. I know Montana State prefers to have 2 safeties over the top all the time to keep Flores and Salo back there and give those corners help. But whenever they do try to blitz and only leave 1 safety back and give man-to-man, the Grizzlies, I think, like their matchups.
1st down and 10, ball on the 33-yard line. There you see the clock, less than 6 minutes to go in the opening half. 14-7 Montana State. Johanse Humphrey again with the carry. Brian Gales, if you're just joining us, out with a shoulder injury. We'll find out at halftime if he'll be able to make a second half return for the Grizzlies. Until then, Humphrey will be the main ball carrier for the Grizz. That time picks up a few yards, gets it down around the 26-yard line, it appears, for the Grizz, the 5'10", 190-pound freshman, Johanse Humphrey.
Great lead block that time by left tackle Scott Curry. Did a good job of getting out on the end there and giving Humphrey the corner. Very good job.
2nd and 3, 7-yard gain for Humphrey. Just over 5 minutes to go. Looks like Ayat had trouble with the snap there. Hands it off to Humphrey. Not a whole lot there. Maybe a yard.
Bobcats bringing pressure again. I'm kind of surprised how much, but again, both sides of the ball, I really feel like I'm impressed with how Montana State has really mixed it up, offensively and defensively.
Look at the uniform, Kamakana Kamaloa, the 6'4". I've been practicing that name all week, guys. 285-pound sophomore, getting down and dirty in the trenches.
Coaches really praised him last week, their game at Sac State. They said he played excellent. They nominated him, I think, for captain. He just stepped up and played really good. He's only a sophomore and really anchored that right side of the line for the Grizzlies.
Big 3rd down here, 3rd and 2 for the Grizzlies, trailing 14-7. Ayat hauls in the snap, then goes deep. Looks like he has a man wide open. Touchdown, Montana.
Great call right there. We've seen that play in the past from the Grizzlies. They fake the middle screen. They send the inside receiver out to fake a block. That's Travis Walker. He goes out on the corner, fakes like he's going to block. Brian Ayat pump fakes and then leads him up the sideline for an easy touchdown. Bobcats bid on the middle screen.
Great pump fake by Ayat. That makes the score 14-13. Hepner in to try to tie this game. 4:14 left to go in the first half. We've talked about this game being a game of responding to the other team, what they do. Well, Montana State came out, scored 14 consecutive points. Now Montana comes right back, puts 6 on the board, tries to tie the score now. Great drive by the Grizzlies.
I think that's a really good call by offensive coordinator Brent Pease as well. You've got Montana State, who's been a little bit more aggressive than maybe they have been in the past. They're bringing a lot of heat. Again, that time they bring heat again. So they run the fake middle screen. Montana State's aggressive. They're thinking, hey, we're going to come up and make a play on this middle screen. Nope, we'll fake it and go over the top. Good call by Brent Pease.
Hepner puts the point after through the crossbars, 14-14. There you see the replay. Good catch backtracking there by Travis Walker. The junior hauls it in. Ayat 11 for 16, 127 yards and 2 touchdowns so far in the first half.
Well, this game is everything we hoped it would be. We knew it would be a good one, and here we are, knotted in just one of the best games of the year for both teams. Couldn't ask for anything better if you're a football fan in Montana.
Crowd really getting into it now. Standing room only here in Washington Grizzly Stadium. The weather sure didn't keep anyone away.
No, it didn't. And you know, we talked about this earlier. I know, Mike, you and I did, especially being Cats and Grizz. And I know everybody in this state is either a Cat or a Grizz. That's just the way it goes. But really, to me, this is what you want every year from the Cat Grizz football game. I mean, it should be conference championship on the line. Both teams battling for first place. The loser gets second, first and second. They both go to the playoffs. That is ideal for the state of Montana and all the kids that play from our state for these two teams.
You're absolutely right, Grady. Kinnaman, he's got some room to the outside.
Good return there by Eric Kinnaman out near the 35-yard line. Just over 4 minutes left on the clock for Rob Compson and the Bobcat offense.
You can see on that return, that's a situation.
Let's go to the scoring drive here. 7 plays, 61 yards, 3 minutes and 5 seconds, capped off by Ayat, the 25-yard pass to Travis Walker for the touchdown. That ties the game 14-14. What a first half we've had so far this afternoon, guys.
Looks like Montana State's going to come back out with the 5 wide out, no huddle package. Again, really keeping the Grizzlies off balance, and there's the quick screen to Craig Galley this time.
Flag on the play near the end of the sideline.
That was strung out really well by Vince Huntsberger. Again, Mike mentioned in his pregame that he's done such a great job. He's getting better and better. He's a young guy. And last week, I think it was 16 tackles, he said, Mike. And he strung that play out well and kept it to little gain. And now there's a holding, which is going to back Montana State up.
They just do a great job defensively. They've got everybody out here. They want to get it to Galley and then let him take off with those receivers. Are well blocked on both of them, but you see Huntsberger's not having any of it. He comes right through them, splits the 2 blockers, and makes a play.
I think the hold's going to be called on Jake Boyer out there. That's tough at times when you're blocking in space outside as a receiver or as a lineman. You come out and you're on a screen play and you come out in space and you've got to try to break down and block a guy. You get a lot of holding calls, it seems like, on those types of plays.
You really do, and it's something. The blocking for the Bobcat receiver is something that they really take a lot of pride in. And they ran that same play against Idaho State last week for I think about 58 yards for the touchdown.
First down and 19, ball on the 25-yard line for the Bobcats. Compson in the shotgun. 5 wide receivers across the middle. Good pass, good catch. Guess who he goes to? We've seen this all afternoon. Chip Hobbs with the reception. Guys, Chip Hobbs needed just 67 yards coming into this game to top the 1,000-yard mark for the season. I believe he has 5 catches for 71 yards. That catch right there just got him over the 1,000-yard mark.
We've got a Grizzly. It looks like Damon Parker comes in here and makes the hit on Hobbs.
I think Vince Huntsberger, Mike, absolutely took Damon Parker's head off when he came over to help. He drilled his own player there, and gosh, hope it's not serious.
Well, in a game like this, just to lose a corner is really crucial. Here you can see the play. Comes in, you see.
Looked like an elbow to the head there.
Huntsberger does put a shot on him.
Well, Vince is only a freshman, and he's already starting to earn the reputation as a big hitter, and you can see it right there. I mean, obviously he wanted to hit the Bobcat guy, but a little bit to the side and hits his own guy. Justin Gaines, who is a senior and was a starter and now has kind of been replaced, is a backup number 2 that can come in and provide it. He's in the game now, obviously, and they're going to need him to step up big as a senior and play corner for him.
There you see the rain still coming down, not too bad. Field in still fairly good shape, having had 1/2 of play played on it.
Yeah, the field's holding up pretty well. I think, the middle is starting to show a little wear, and I think some of that, at least on the north end, was caused by the little horse parade we had out here for the national anthem before this thing got going. But the field's holding up very well, I think. We were down on it this morning. Inside the hashes, it's a little bit muddy. They were working on it hard, and I think they've done a good job. The sidelines, on the other hand, are a problem.
Parker trying to shake the cobwebs from his head, I'm sure.
You can see Parker comes in, makes a great hit himself, and he's taking Hobbs to the ground, and he comes in and takes one from his own teammate.
2nd and 3 for the Bobcats. Ball on the Montana 41-yard line. 3.5 minutes left to go in the opening half.
Great catch by Chip Hobbs. Wow, they got a little pressure on Thompson. He was forced to make a quick early throw. Hobbs goes down to his shoe tops and makes an unbelievable catch. I'm telling you, these Bobcat receivers are good.
You see Justin Kleins, the Grizzly lineman, putting the heat on him and put a pretty good hit on Thompson after the throw.
Great job getting rid of the ball by Thompson, and then again a great catch by Hobbs hauling it in. No huddle offense again for the Bobcats. 1st and 10, ball on the 46. Thompson with some time, flushed out, has some running room, up past midfield onto the 40, near the 30, goes out of bounds. Great run there. Guys, we've seen that a handful of times in this game. Thompson being forced out of the pocket, but has really turned nothing into something.
It's a great package by the Bobcats. I don't know if the Grizzlies were prepared for it at all, and obviously they're just hoping they can get to halftime defensively and make some adjustments. You've got everybody spread out, no huddle package. You're forced to make adjustments on the run. They're playing man coverage underneath, 2 safeties over the top. If those men run out of there, there's nobody left to spy on Thompson. He can run forever.
Well, I don't think many people would have guessed that he'd had 10 carries for 53 yards, but he's been rushing the ball pretty effectively when he's had to.
This time Thompson gets rid of it through the air. I believe the pass completed to Hobbs. Indeed it is. Minimal gain there.
That was a great defensive play by Chris Colvin. He wasn't fooled at all. They tried to get one-on-one coverage out there, give him a chance. This is the situation where you want to shake that first tackler, get some open field. He was out there, uses the sideline, puts a little leg whip on him and gets him down. Looked like a little WWF move there.
You mentioned earlier too, Mike, about Brent Ludwig, the center. What a great job he did there. He double-teamed Kelly Bryant, then he came off, made another great play, playing well.
Almost another spectacular catch by Hobbs there. The ball thrown towards the sideline. Hobbs tries to haul it in with one hand, but just a little bit out of his reach. Thompson 11 for 14 now, 113 yards. He had completed 9 straight until that point.
Well, that's the situation they want. They love to get Hobbs one-on-one with a shorter defensive back and let him go up for the ball. Just not able to pull it in that time.
Big 3rd down for the Bobcats right here. A little pressure on Thompson.
Ball picked off. Flag on the play, though. It might be pass interference. Still on his feet.
We've got a second flag coming out now.
That's going to be holding, Mike, on the return. One of the DBs grabbed a hold of the receivers.
Well, that's Parker makes a play here. They threw the flag. It looks like he may have given him a little push to Hobbs on that one. Let's wait and see. Let him sort it out here. Here you can see it's coming on your screen now. If the push came, it may have come right before we came in on our coverage there.
Looked like a pretty good play late anyways, as far as we can see on the replay. There must have been something, like you said, Mike, a little early, maybe a shove early.
Yeah, because from what we see on the replay there, that looks like a good defensive play. He stepped in front.
That's what I thought. They're not going to call pass interference, but they're going to call holding. He must have been grabbing onto him as they were running upfield, even before the ball was thrown.
Montana fans, Montana Grizzly fans, got to be a little bit more specific, letting the officials know that they don't agree with that call.
Well, and again, here you look at Montana has a chance to maybe get them stopped here as they're driving. It's 3rd and long, and another penalty is going to move the stakes. The penalties are just hurting the Grizzlies.
They really have been costly. They've come at some very, very poor times.
There is holding on the defense. 10-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
And you can hear the fans are not happy with that, but...
Well, the Bobcats got a big break there. Let's see what they can do. They've had some trouble early on this season of scoring the ball in the red zone. Let's see what they can do this drive.
Well, the last 3 drives, Montana has not been able to stop the Bobcats. They've had their way with them 3 drives in a row.
And like you mentioned, the penalties are just killing them. That's their 6 penalties. It cost them 86 yards. And more than your yardage, it's just been some really crucial moments in the game.
1st and 10, ball on the 15-yard line for the Bobcats. Thompson drops back, lofts one into the end zone. Again, intended for Hobbs, just out of his hands. He really laid that one up for him, and Hobbs tried to go up and grab it, but couldn't.
Again, you're looking at great offensive coordination by the Bobcats. The Grizzlies are forced into a decision. If they're going to bring heat, you're going to get one-on-one with Hobbs and Caballero all day. If they're going to sit back in zones and try to help those guys over the top, now Compton's either going to have all day to throw or all time to run like we saw earlier.
That brings up a 2nd and 10. Ball still on the 15-yard line. 2.5 minutes to go in the opening half. 14-14 is the score. The 98th meeting between these two rivals. Again, Compton with some time. Flag comes down on the play, down around the 1-yard line. Guys, that's usually where a hold.
I think that's going to come back for sure. I think we had Brent Ludwig. It looked like he got the power rush. You can see it come up the middle here. He just, well, you know, he goes right back on his back. I don't know if he grabbed on him when he was down or what he did, but I don't think he had time to hold him before he went down. That was a great power rush.
That's Corey Murdi out of Great Falls. He played linebacker there. Great player there. Now he's turned into a defensive lineman, and you're right, what a power rush. And I don't think the hold was there. I think you're right, it was on the ground afterwards. He held him so he wouldn't get up and make the play. But what a great call again. Too bad it was a hold for the Bobcats, but super call. That time the Grizzlies dropped into coverage, and they run the quarterback draw.
Still second down.
Well, the Bobcats are hurting themselves again here with the penalty. It's going both ways a little bit. That's their 6th penalty for 50 yards.
So between them, the two teams have 12 penalties for more than 130 yards.
You know, typically you see that in a game like this. There's so much emotion. There's so much riding on it. Kids will make mistakes. Usually it'll happen early a lot of times. We're seeing probably too many penalties too far into the game right now. They need to settle down and play a little smarter.
2nd and 23, ball on the 28-yard line. Compton with some time, again, is going to take off. Montana tries to get to him. Compton just throws it out of bounds.
That's great defense there by the University of Montana. Compton had some time early, wasn't able to find a receiver. There's just nothing down there. You can see the offensive line doing a good job here. He's got time, breaks the pocket,
Corey Murdi
gets a little pressure and just throws it out of bounds.
Guys, I think the closest one to that ball was our sideline reporter, Kara Compuano. She could have hauled that one in.
You know what? That's a good decision by Compton, though. So many times quarterbacks will maybe try to force one or even to try to run right there and lose 3 or 4 yards with Adam Buber coming up on pursuit. Just to throw the ball out of bounds and go 3rd down. That's a good decision.
Let's go down to Kara for another sideline report.
Okay, guys, I have an injury report on Damon Parker. He took a really good hit on the play, just a little bit shaken up, but trainer Dennis Murphy thinks that he is fine. That's it for now. Back up to you.
All right, great job, Kara. Thanks a lot. No doubt, good news for Montana. They don't need to lose another player already. Gales is out with, I believe, a shoulder injury. Not sure on his status. They'll reevaluate it at the half. For Montana, they'd really like to have that senior back into the lineup.
Well, here comes a big down, guys, for both teams. It's 3rd down again, really long. Last time the Grizzly defense was in this situation, they had a penalty and Montana State converted. Obviously here, they can't hurt themselves, but you know, Montana State, if they can come away with something right here, they're putting some doubts into the minds. I mean, obviously they've all year, the Grizzlies have heard that Montana State's a better team. They're going to come in here, they're going to play much better. And boy, if they score here, they leave some questions to be answered at halftime for the Grizzly defense and offense.
I think you're right, Grady. The Bobcats have knocked on the door, and they've been close, but I still think they need to prove to themselves that they can get over and win this game. But it certainly helps to put some pressure on that team, and on the other side of that is you put a little doubt in those Grizzly minds, it can make a difference for you.
Bobcats trying to snap a 12-year losing streak against the Grizzlies. 3rd and 23, ball on the 28-yard line for the Bobcats. Compton drops back. Defender and receiver fall down. No flag on the play, however.
That's Justin Gaines. They went to the matchup there. Interesting what they did. They brought in both backs to give Compton full protection, and he got it. That time they had help over the top. Jason Miller, the free safety, coming over to help Justin Gaines. Both guys just fell down.
So far, with 1:58 left to go in the first half of action, the Grizzlies with 144 total yards, the Bobcats 169.
Another thing to keep in mind here too, and the Bobcats know this, there's still a lot of time. Whatever happens here on this 4th down play, they know the Grizzlies can easily go the field with 1:58.
Well, I think that they learned that, if they had any doubts, they learned that at the end of the game last year.
4th and 23, Compson drops back.
I think we're going to get it.
Not even close. The ball was thrown out of bounds, had some pressure on him.
Well, I don't think that was a catchable ball, but I think I don't know if you'll see it on the replay. I think Boomer gave him a pretty good shove when that ball was in the air.
It was a good play. They ran the back. Kinnaman out of the backfield on a wheel route. Bring the receiver in on a slant. Make sure your corner's vacated, and then run the wheel route. But you're right, boy, there was a lot of contact on that play.
That's the 5th incomplete pass in a row for Rob Compson. That is a turnover on downs. Gives Montana the ball back with 1:51 on their own 28-yard line. Guys, that is plenty of time for Brian Ayotte.
Plenty of time, like Mike just said. The Bobcats obviously know that, not only from last year, but just they know the kind of offense and the kind of things that Brian Ayotte can do. So crucial here. Back out of the backfield. Good play call. Johansi Humphrey with a gain of about 15.
Humphrey has really stepped up without Gales in the lineup, both carrying the ball and receiving. That's going to be good enough for another first down for the Grizzlies. Ball out past the 40-yard line, about the 42-yard line.
It looks like the Grizzlies now, of course, are going into their no huddle with only 1:39 left on the clock. But they're using wristbands, which is something I haven't seen a lot. Usually Brian Ayotte will just call it. This time they've got wristbands. The receivers are all looking down at a certain play, and he's calling it off the wristband.
Bobcats going with 3-man front. They bring the backers.
Ayotte with plenty of time goes across the middle. Ball overthrown. A couple of defenders there. That pass was intended for Jeremy Watkins.
It was just, they had good coverage there. He throws the safety. Josh Perkins, you can see from the middle of the field, comes over and helps out Noel Kubek here. They had him bracketed pretty well.
They did. Noel Kubek, he was right in his hip pocket. There was no way he was going to let Jeremy Watkins get free. And Noel knows right now that Jeremy Watkins is probably the guy that Ayotte's going to look to on this drive. So he's very determined, of course, to stop Jeremy.
2nd down and 10. Ball on the 42-yard line for the Grizzlies. 1:20 left to go in the first half. Here comes Montana State. Grizzlies do a good job picking it up. Ball overthrown, almost picked off by the Bobcats.
Johansi Humphrey there did a tremendous job of stepping up and picking up the linebacker blitz. I think it was Cody Schrader that came. No, it was Sean Flores, the safety again. Again, a good call. Johansi does a great job. And you know, that may be an example, guys, right there of Brian not being as confident with Johansi. If Brian Gales is in there, maybe he sets in there better, but he kind of throws this off his back foot, although he did slip there a little bit. But again, that may be just the fact that he's not as confident with Johansi as he is with Gales.
Guys, at the end of the first half, when we come back, we'll visit with President George Dennison and MSU President Mike Malone. Plus, later in the half, of course, we'll take a look at all the first half statistics and highlights, sponsored by your local Montana Chevy dealers. 3rd down and 10 for Ayotte. Pass completed again to number 4. That will be good enough for a first down.
Okay, I think what you have
for
there
the Grizzlies, Jeremy Watkins with another reception.
Watkins again, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on your monitor, but this is just an outstanding route. You'll see how much separation is between Watkins and Kubek. He pushed him inside, got Kubek's shoulders turned, made him think there was a post or a deep route, then stops and runs the out route. That's just great route running by Jeremy Watkins.
It really was, and you can see the Grizzlies, they are determined to keep working that matchup with those two players, and so far I think the Grizzlies are getting the best of this one.
1st and 10, ball on the 44-yard line of the Bobcats. 1:10 left to go in the first half. Ayotte drops back. Pass completed across the middle. Diving catch there by Travis Walker.
Again, that time they let Johansi leak out of the backfield again to the flat. Bobcats were in zone that time, so he wasn't able to hit him because there was a backer sitting out there waiting for him. So he comes across the middle and gets a short gain.
That's going to be good enough for a 5-yard gain. Brings up 2nd and 5 on the 39-yard line. 45 seconds remaining. Grizzlies, of course, going with the no-huddle offense. Ayotte gets rid of it.
Well, the Bobcats,
not sure what happened there.
Bobcats got a little help from the umpire. He was probably the closest defender, we'll call him, on this play. You can see they try to go over the middle on the screen. They have the blitz coming. It goes over the middle, and it just, we get a little umpire in the way here.
Boy, if he gets that to Pacheco, too, Pacheco could run a long way. So nice play by the umpire for Montana State.
Boy, if Pacheco would have caught that, it would have been a good block by the umpire, I'm sure.
That's right.
When you bring all that heat, you can't let anybody get in that middle. There's just not going to be anybody home.
We got to find out who that umpire is, Mike. He might have graduated from Montana State, huh?
3rd down and 5, ball on the 39-yard line. 39 seconds left to go for the Grizzlies. Ayat to the air once again. Another completed pass.
That's Jimmy Farris. You know, Jimmy Farris has done a great job as well. Hasn't got a lot of playing time this year. Kind of a rotational guy, comes in situations like this with the 5 wideout package, but he's a good player, and the Grizzlies think a lot of him. They think he's going to have a great future. Nice route right there again.
It doesn't seem to matter. Whoever the Grizzlies bring in for the wide receiver, they'll haul in a pass.
They've got a good crew. Coach Cockhill obviously does a good job, kind of maintains the tradition. The wideout packages for years have been strong here, and they just keep bringing in good recruits, good kids that can run routes and catch the ball.
That's good enough for a 1st down at the 20-yard line, 34 seconds. Bobcats need something good to happen on defense so they don't go into the half down. Low snap, Ayat picks it up, then dumps it off. Good catch there on a high ball. Jeremy Watkins.
What a great tackle there, coming up and making that play. Man, I'm not sure who that was exactly, but Watkins had some room. Good call. I think Ayat audible to that. Saw the pressure coming, thought he had a good matchup, goes to the middle screen, and Watkins makes a good cut behind one of his leading blockers, old lineman.
Watch the block out here on the corner.
Now Watkins slow getting up.
That's a big-time hit by Flores right there, and you can see he kind of bent his knee back. That could really hurt the Grizzlies if that's anything serious.
The 3rd guy to go down for the Grizzlies, of course, Brian Gales goes down.
Boy, that
no word on
good
him
on that
yet.
leg, does it?
It doesn't look pretty at all. Those usually, the only thing that might save him there is the wet field, the fact that it's so giving, probably allowed his foot to slip. But that movement right there with the knee is usually the kind of movement that turns into, a bad knee injury.
It's good to see him jogging off the field, though.
Yes.
6 catches for 58 yards so far in this game for Watkins.
Here again, you can see the knee. I'll tell you that he's got a lot more flexibility in that knee than I do.
That's good rallying to the football by Montana State, though, as well. Flores comes up and makes a big hit. A lot of times guys will just kind of stand around and be satisfied, hey, great hit. But, man, you got Bobcats all over rallying to that football, 4 and 5 guys in on that tackle.
2nd and 5, ball on the 15-yard line, 21 seconds left to go in the opening half. Grizzlies with no timeouts left in the first half.
This is where, Chris, you look for Pacheco. He sometimes is quiet during games, all of a sudden down in the red zone. I don't know if Ayat looks to him a little more than the other guys or not, but it seems like he makes plays down inside the red zone for the Grizzlies.
Touchdown, no? Boy, you can't come much closer to scoring there.
I'll tell you, a lot of things happened in a quick period there. A lot of guys got their hands on the ball. I'm not sure who the first Bobcat defender is who gets the ball, tips it to the receiver. Yeah, Noel Kubek got a hand on it, but I'll tell you what, Flores came in and made a great hit. He just saved the Bobcats 7 points.
You just mentioned Pacheco, Grady, and that's exactly who Ayat looked for.
Boy, in that ball, you're right, Noel Kubek almost intercepts it. Then it's a touchdown for the Grizzlies, but no, Flores knocks it out, and now there's another Grizzly down in the field. Bobcats are doing a good job of hitting out here today.
3rd down and 5, 15 seconds left to go in the first half. Ball on the 15-yard line. Guys, coming into this game, the Montana State red zone defense had given up 20 touchdowns in 20 tries. Well, no, it had allowed the opposition, to score 20 times in 20 opportunities with 13 touchdowns. So far, you can put 2 more touchdowns on it.
You can, and this will be the biggest one of the year, obviously, because if they allow them to get in here with only 15 seconds, it keeps that streak going, and it puts them down by 7 or by 3 at halftime. But if they can somehow get a stop, the Grizzlies stopped the Bobcats when they got down in their red zone last time, and now let's see if the Bobcats can return the favor.
3rd and 5, 15 seconds left to go in the first half. Ball on the 15-yard line. Ayat in the shotgun. 1 back. Looks like 4 wide receivers out there. Trouble with the snap. That's pivotal. Ayat falls on it. Ball's on the 30-yard line. He is not happy. Not sure what he's complaining about. That is going to end the first half. So the Bobcats looks like have caught a break there with no timeouts. The Grizzlies couldn't stop the clock and set up for a field goal. What a break for the Bobcats.
You know, I was going to mention it earlier too. We talked about Brent Ludwig, the Bobcat center, going to a no-huddle offense the entire first half. The toughest part about that, probably just getting a snap. It's a wet field, it's a muddy ball. He's got to snap the ball every time. He's done a great job, and I was going to mention it, and there you go. A huge play, maybe ends up being the biggest play of the game so far. A snap over the head ends the Grizzlies' threat.
That is the 4th sack for 36 yards. That is the end of the first half. When we come back, we'll visit with both of the university presidents, George Dennison from Montana and Montana's Mike Malone, plus later in the half, a look at first half statistics and highlights, of course sponsored by your local Montana Chevy dealers.
The second half of Grizzly Gridiron Classics starts now.
14-14 is the score in this game, Montana and Montana State. What a game we have had so far in the first half. Both teams have put 2 touchdowns on the board. No turnovers yet in the game. Defense is doing a pretty good job so far, giving up some big plays, but really it's kind of a bend but don't break, it seems like so far. Chris Fagan, Grady Bennett, and Mike Callahan joining you from the booth here on a drizzly November afternoon. Field conditions we were marking on in the break. The sidelines pretty muddy down there. Kind of glad I'm not in Kara's position, the sideline reporter. The field, you can see in the middle of the field that there's still some spots that are a little rough, but overall you can't be too unhappy with the way the field is, considered it's rained pretty much the majority of the morning and into the afternoon. Montana, who won the toss, in the first half and received, they will kick off to start the second half. 14-14 is your score. Chris Hefner on to kick it off to the Bobcats. Guys, we had a great first half. I'm sure we can expect the same in the second.
Well, the first thing to look for right away, obviously, is the adjustments that were made. The Bobcats really had their way, I thought, with the Grizzly defense in the first half. Showed them a lot of different packages, and we'll see how the Grizzlies adjust to it this half.
Fumble on the kickoff. It looks like Montana has it. Not sure if he was down.
Ref is saying down.
It looked like the back judge is pointing to the ground, indicating that the ball was dead.
Great crowd still on hand for this game. Of course, you're not going to go home in a 14-14 game between 2 state rivals like this. Almost 20,000 here at Washington Grizzly Stadium to take in this game. The Bobcats hoping to end a 12-year drought against the Grizzlies. This game for a playoff berth. It doesn't get much bigger than this.
Well, penalties were a big issue in the first half for both sides, and they came, we talked at crucial times. That right there would have been the first turnover of the game, which obviously would have been huge. Luckily for the Bobcats, they got that back. And now again, we'll talk about some adjustments here and see what both teams do to start the second half.
Rob Thompson with a good first half, both passing and rushing. We didn't expect to see him come out running the ball, but he had a pretty effective job doing that when they flush him out of the pocket.
Oh, he did a great job. I mean, I credit 2 things in the first half, really. The penalties on the Grizzlies that were really untimely, and then the play of Rob Thompson. We talked about it in the pregame, what a great leader, what a great player he's been. Man, did he make things happen, not only throwing the ball, but with his feet. Underappreciated maybe for his scrambling ability, but did a great job. That, however, is his 6th incompletion in a row, so he's been on a little drought here. 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10, 1 wide out up top, 1 at the bottom of your screen, 1 back. Thompson fakes the handoff, lets her fly. That's intended for Chip Hobbs. They went to him all day. That's going to be incomplete as well. That makes 7 incompletions in a row for
That's
Thompson.
good coverage by Damon Park, who came back into the game. But if you watch this ball, they get what they want again, Mike. And if he throws this about 3 yards further up the field, I think it's maybe a long, long touchdown. A little bit underthrown, that ball right there.
I think you're right, Grady. You know, they've had the opportunities. They want to get Hobbs out there on an island, make somebody go up and get the ball with him. They've had him open today, but they just haven't been able to connect on it. I have a strong feeling that we're going to see more of it, though.
Big play here, just 20 seconds into the second half. 3rd and 10, ball on the 31. Thompson with some time, dumps off the screen pass. Lathian Tyler gets out near the 40.
I think you're going to have this play called dead. I think there might have been a false start before that play ever started.
He would have been close to the first down, maybe a couple of yards short, probably about 3. We'll have to see what happens with the penalty.
Sure enough, it is a false start, Chris, and so the Bobcats are going to have a 3rd and 15 instead of 3rd and 10. But, you know, they converted a lot of those in the first half. A couple of them were by penalties, some big mistakes by the Grizzlies, but they did a nice job of finding either Hobbs or Caballero on 3rd and long and converting it and moving the sticks.
Well, penalties were a problem in the first half for Cliff Heisel and McDennehy's team. So far, not much has changed with one penalty in the first 3 plays of the second half. That is the Bobcats' 7th penalty for 55 yards so far in this game.
Well, Mike talked about both teams going into the halftime locker room and just saying, hey, we need to settle down, play smart. I know there was some emotions going in the first half. This is the biggest game of our lives probably, but hey, let's settle down now and play some football, play mentally disciplined football and get some things done. 3rd and 10, Thompson. Couple of receivers there. It looked like it went right in between both of them. I think the main target was Oscar Caballero, but that pass was incomplete.
That's a big stop for the Grizzlies to come out, shut them down, 3 and out the first series. Gives you a lot of momentum. You want to get off the ball that first series and try and set the tone.
Brings up 4th and 15, the punting unit on. Piott in to punt. 14:30 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Ball placed on the 26-yard line. We talked about Piott and how effective he's been this season. Grady remarked on it in the first half. 41.9 per punt. That's 3rd in the Big Sky, 16th nationally.
Looks like
good
Walker's got a
return
little
here.
room. I think the interesting thing to me in that first drive there is the Bobcats had so much success with the 5 wide out, no huddle, and then they don't show it at all there. Even the stack package in that first drive kind of went back to the more traditional one-back set with the tight end. I'm sure we're going to see it on the second set, though.
That was a 45-yard punt by Piott. Pretty good return there by Travis Walker. He takes it up near midfield. The ball might be on the 50-yard line. Exactly, hard to tell. No, it looks like about the 48-yard line.
You could see the field condition come into play on that return. The Bobcat defenders just couldn't make a cut.
The important thing here for Grizzly fans is that both Watkins and Pacheco, who were both injured momentarily in the first half, are back in the starting lineup, so that's good news for Grizzly fans.
First play of the second half, they hand off to Johansi Humphrey. Nowhere to go on that. That's going to bring up a 2nd and long for the Grizzlies. 14 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. 14-14 is the score. The fans still filing into their seats after taking their halftime breaks.
Say, with these two teams, I don't know if I would take a very long halftime break. These offenses can do some things in a hurry. I think I would have got my pizza and my pop quickly and got back to my seat. There's still a lot of empty seats out there.
2nd and 10, Ayat out of the shotgun. Rifles one, but it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure who got a hand on that. There is a flag on the play.
I think we're going to have a hold there. Once again, you see the Bobcats bring pressure here, and I think it's going to be right in the middle here. Oh, you can see it right there. We get the takedown. I think that was Grizzlies' left guard. That might have been Randy Alec that they got on that one. Unfair to really mention these offensive linemen when they get called for something, because quite frankly we don't mention them often enough. Both offensive lines have been doing an outstanding job. We've seen great pass protection on both teams. Both teams forced to bring a lot of pressure with linebackers and just bringing some safeties and some corners.
Like you said, Mike, the only time that you ever mention an offensive lineman's name, it seems like, is when he holds or gives up a big play. That was the Grizzlies' 7th penalty, so like the Bobcats, they have 7, only they've been penalized for 96 yards so far in this game, and the second half has just started.
Long way to go here.
2nd and 26. 3 wide receivers. Humphrey in motion up at the top of your screen. Ayat in the shotgun. Ayat gets some pressure put on him. Good work to get away and evade him. Still on his feet. Lets it fly. Incomplete pass, though. Good job by Ayat to get away from the defense, but really couldn't find anything there.
Right.
Good coverage by the Bobcats.
Brady talked about it earlier that he's going to make plays with his feet. That time the Bobcats only bring 4, but they're able to get good pressure. Amato goes for the feet, loses contain. You don't want to see, if you're a Bobcat fan, you do not want to see Brian Ayat running free on that corner out there. He makes a lot of things happen when he's got time on the corner.
And again, that's where penalties hurt you so bad. If that's a 2nd and 10 or a 2nd and 9 like they did have, you know, Brian Ayat can maybe run and say, hey, I'll get 4 or 5 yards and then we'll take 3rd and 5. But on that long play, he's going to have to try to make something happen with the throw. That penalties again hurting the Grizzlies.
That's a great point, Grady. That brings up 3rd and 26. Ayat with some time, lets it fly. A little bit ahead of the receiver. He led the receiver, Johanse Humphrey, just a little bit too much. That'll bring up 4th down, and the punting unit will come on for the Grizzlies.
I think he actually wants Raul Pacheco here. If you watch, Brian Ayat steps up in the pocket nicely. He wants to come across the middle to Pacheco. Johanse's kind of running a little spill route, which is the F-back. He'll check, and if he doesn't see any pressure, he'll slip out just a little bit over the old lineman for kind of a safety release. And I think Johanse kind of interrupted that play going for Pacheco.
Number 9 back to return the punt for Montana State. That is Oscar Caballero.
He's got some room out here. Great block by Noel Kuhlbeck.
Good job by the Grizzlies surrounding him toward the sideline and not giving him much room to work with.
Well, you're right, Mike. Noel had the wall set up for a second there. It looked like it could be big, but the Grizzlies rallied.
Well, both teams had a possession here in the second half. Neither team can do anything with it, though. 14-14 is still the score. 13:07 left to go in the third quarter. Welcome back to Washington Grizzlies Stadium, home of the University of Montana Grizzlies, where this afternoon they're playing host to conference and state rival, the Montana State Bobcats. 14-14 is the score here in the third quarter. 13:07 left to go in this third period.
Again, we talked about the Bobcats having so much success in the first half with the 5 wideout, no huddle package, but 2 drives in a row now they've come back with the tight end. Good run there on first down. That we talked about first down being a key for them. If they can get that many yards, that's 6 on first down, I think it really puts the Grizzly defense in trouble on second down.
Great interior line blocking here. They double on the tackle. Lathan makes a nice cut, opens it up once again. Brent Ludwig doing a hell of a job today.
Brent Ludwig has impressed me. He's done some good things up front, not only with the snaps. People forget that shotgun snap is so important. You see it so many times, take it for granted. We saw in the first half when the Grizzlies had a bad one how important that is.
2nd and 4 for the Bobcats. Ball on the 40-yard line. Thompson, little bootleg, tries to throw the ball to Hobbs. Grizzlies read that one pretty well.
You know, it's a good call on second down there to go with a little play action right there and second and short. But Justin Klein says nothing doing and comes in off the corner and makes Thompson throw it low.
Yeah, he was coming upfield all the way. He didn't bite on the fake at all. Makes a good play. Easy to lose contain here if you're not careful. He does a great job paying him, making get rid of him before he had to.
That brings up a 3rd and 4 for the Bobcats. Another big 3rd down for the Cats. 14-14. Ball on the 40-yard line. 3 stacked wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. Thompson with some pressure gets rid of it. Boy, Caballero was drilled before the ball got there. A whole host of Grizzlies were there to meet him should he have caught the ball.
The Bobcats have run that same route out of the stack package 3 different times now, and every time it's been open. It's been a very good route, but that time again Justin Klein applies pressure, forces Thompson to step up in the pocket, and because of that, the route's thrown just a little bit late because he was open early on the curl route, but the pressure by Klein, once again, a big play for the Grizzlies. 4th down, Piat into punt. They got 6 yards on the first play of that drive, but couldn't muster anything else after that. Low snap. In fact, it bounces. Good job by Piat to pick it up, and not only pick it up, but kick a pretty good ball there. Well, Piat is a great punter. We heard about him. Boy, he is fantastic.
What a great job to pick up the ball and then kick a perfect spiral.
I know we talked about it in the first half.
45-yard punt.
Yeah, a lot of times, you talk so much about the offenses, both over 400 yards a game, both scoring over 30 points a game, on and on. And a lot of times, the defenses are the ones that will step up in games like this. And so far, defenses have made obviously some good adjustments at halftime and have come out and got some 3 and outs.
2 big stops for the Grizzlies to open the second half. Cats got nothing going on either drive.
1st and 10, ball on the 25-yard line. Just over 12 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ayat under center, 4 wideouts, 1 back, fakes the handoff, then throws it. Completed pass to Justin Olson.
Nice job by Robert Carter. He's done a really good job in the nickel and dime packages for the Bobcats today. First of all, when they're playing that 2 deep safety look, that time they, again, faked kind of a blitz look. Robert Carter maybe thinking he's going to come off the corner, giving Bryant a little trouble there, but then he backs off. Olson tries to juke him and run around there, and Carter says no way and wraps him up. Good tackle.
Grady, are you surprised maybe by the Of course, Montana airs it out a lot, but they haven't really tried to go deep very much.
You know, I think a lot of people misunderstand maybe the Grizzly offense. Really, where a lot of teams will try to just get 3 and 4 yards a chunk with the running game, the Grizzlies are going to throw the football, and not necessarily to go deep all the time, but just to pick up those same 3 and 4 yards that they would get anyways. Oh, that would have been a big play. Justin Olson
looked like he had some running room if he would have caught it.
Boy, that's a big break for the Bobcats there. You can see they fake the ball inside. Kevin Lundstrom drops into coverage here. He turns the break on the ball and just runs right by him.
Looked like he might have been running before he caught that one.
Yeah, I think so. And that's, you know, anytime you come across the middle, you have a tendency to do that because you're thinking about a safety coming over and just laying the wood on you. And Olson probably did that time, looking for a safety. Too bad he didn't know that there was nobody there.
Neither quarterback really doing a whole lot in the second half so far. 11:20 left to go. 3rd down and 7. Ayat out of the shotgun. Gets some time, then throws a screen pass. Looked like another drop ball, but maybe that was for the best because should he caught it, he probably wouldn't have had much running room.
Interesting decision there by Ayat. He makes such great decisions, and it looked like he had 2 guys, not only the linebacker, but the corner came off on that little swing route. Kind of threw that one into double coverage maybe.
Yeah, Kinnaman does a nice job of coming outside. I think a lot of that confusion comes for Ayat because of the fact that Amato hasn't been dropping off in coverage hardly at all today. They've been using him to bring some heat. I think he may have been a little surprised to find him out there on that play.
You're right, Mike. They've used that 3 down lineman set, but they're putting Amato, a linebacker, down as a defensive lineman as well at times and bringing him on the rush.
Caballero receives the punt out around the 30-yard line, kind of pointing for some blocks. Can't do a whole lot with it. Once again, some pretty good punt coverage by the Grizzlies. Each team's had 2 possessions. Neither team's got a first down. 14-14 is the score. 11:02 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Welcome back. 14-14 is your score here. During the break, they announced the attendance for this game. 19,238 fans on hand to watch the 98th meeting of these 2 rivals. 11:02 left to go in the 3rd quarter. We've had 4 possessions. We've run off a whopping 4 minutes of the clock.
Once again, Brady, we're not going to see the 5 receiver set. They've got the tight end Frank Green in again.
Interesting decision by the Bobcats. Maybe they want to try to establish a little bit of the run. We talked about it earlier, trying to get to those corners, and they did very well that time. They got out to the corner and gained 15 yards. Really
well blocked on the outside by the Bobcat receivers. I'd say that brings a little flashback of last year's second half where the Cats put Kinnaman back there and they ran sweep, sweep, sweep. And there was no secret. They just blocked everybody there.
Well, Kinnaman picks up the first down of the second half, and he's got 4 carries for 26 yards. It's a good thing because Thompson has 10 straight incomplete passes going back to the first half. 0 of 5 here in the second half.
What a great job by Jake Boyer that time blocking the linebacker Adam Boomer, getting Kinnaman to the outside.
Looks like the I formation. Thompson with the handoff to Kinnaman again. Some running room up the middle, gets a couple of blocks, and he has broken free before finally being pushed out of bounds around the 20-yard line. No flags on the play. Great gain there. Now the running game. We thought maybe they would come out and try to establish that early. They really didn't with the backs, but now it looks like they might try to do that.
Well, now you know why we're up in the booth, and those guys are calling the plays. Obviously, they do this 5 wide-out, no-huddle offense, have great success. Grizzlies go into the locker room. All they talk about is 5 wideouts, no huddle, make adjustments. What do the Bobcats do? They come back out and run the football.
Once again, great blocking by the Bobcats offensive line.
Kinnaman out, Lathy and Tyler in. That sets up 1st and 10. It was a 36-yard run on that play. 1st and 10, ball on the 17-yard line. Tyler with no running room there. Montana really read that well.
That time Rylan Jollymore, who was a starter at the beginning of the year and hurt his knee early and missed most of the season. That allowed Adam Boomer to actually even get in the lineup, but hurt his knee a little bit last week against Sac State again, but able to play in the Cat Grizz game. Of course, he's not going to miss this game. Makes a big stop right there.
Yeah, the Grizzly defense coaches guessed right there. They had him coming right into the play.
2-yard loss on the play for Tyler. That brings up 2nd and 12, ball on the 19-yard line. 2 wideouts at the bottom of your screen, 1 at the top, 1 back, that's Tyler. Thompson drops back, lets it fly across the middle. Caballero, I believe it's a touchdown, Montana State. Great pass, what a catch by Caballero.
We've noticed that Thompson's been a little bit off on some of those deeper throws. That time, instead of putting it up in the air, putting some loft on it and leaving it to maybe some chance, he just drilled it in there. Great throw by Thompson.
Great drive by the Bobcats, and I tell you what really set that up was the running game. A couple of big runs by Kinnaman.
Absolutely, Chris. That's what we look for when we think of traditional Bobcat football. They run the ball, throw in a pass.
Say Vince Huntsberger was right there with the coverage too. You just can't throw it and catch it any better than that. Great job.
Well, the PATs have been somewhat of an adventure.
I think Piat's asking the ball to be moved. You can legally do that. If you want a PAT to be put on either hash or anywhere in the middle of the hashes, you can request that, and the refs have to allow it. And I think Piat's asking to have it moved a little bit into some better turf there.
As you mentioned earlier, Piat forced to do double duty with the injury to the Bobcats kicker. I think he went 10 for 10 with the kicking and extra points last week. So he's been solid for him.
Great drive by the Bobcats there. Gives them the lead. The PAT is good. That gives them a 21-14 lead. That's their second lead of the ball game. What a great throw and catch by Compson to Caballero. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Washington Grizzly Stadium. Here is your scoring drive. 4 plays, 69 yards. It only took a minute 4 off the clock. No matter though, it was capped off by a Compson pass to Caballero. Great throw, better catch. That gives the Bobcats a 21-14 lead with 9:58 left to go in this third quarter.
What you look for in big games, obviously, are big-time players to step up and make big plays. And you've got 2 senior leaders right there hooking up, making a huge play for the Bobcats.
Once again, good return for the Grizzlies. They're going to start in good field position. They have the ball at their own 38-yard line.
31-yard return. I believe that was
Atu Molden, I believe. Again.
Yes.
Grizzlies do a great job blocking there at the point of attack. And then he just makes some things happen.
Rain still coming down. Maybe looks like it's coming down a little bit harder. Might play a role in this second half of action. Ayat in the offense. 1st and 10 on the 39-yard line.
Bobcats had a little confusion in their coverage package there and were forced to call a timeout.
You hate to use a timeout for that when they're so valuable, especially in the second half.
Well, yeah, we saw at the end of the first half how the Grizzlies, even with the bad snap, if they would have had 1 timeout left, maybe they could have taken it and allowed Chris Hepner to try. He's got such a strong leg. Maybe he makes that. So you're right. I mean, losing timeouts like this can maybe end up hurting you down the road.
There you see the rain coming down. The sidelines are pretty much just mud.
Cliff Eisel there, you see on your picture, made an interesting comment this week. He said when he first got to Montana State and took over the program, his first couple Bobcat Grizzly games, he made a statement in the paper. It was almost like watching the men against the boys. He's done such a great job with this program and turning it around and bringing it to where it is today. And you know that obviously in his mind, but in the kids' mind, especially from last year, but not only do they think they can win now, they know they can win, and they brought that to this field today.
Both coaches have done such a good job since getting there. Of course, Dennehy taking over a successful program, but they haven't lost a beat.
Well, and sometimes that's maybe even harder to do than rebuilding, because you come in, you're replacing a legend. Man, I think that's, like I said, more difficult maybe than starting from scratch. So both coaches deserve a lot of credit, have done a great job, and I think make the state of Montana proud, which I think is so important for both universities to be rolling and doing well.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, these are 2 head coaches that know about this football game.
We're going to go down to Kara Capano, who has a sideline report. Kara, what you got?
Well, you guys were talking about the weather. It has lightened up a little bit. It's more to a drizzle now, but by now their uniforms are a mess. The field is a mess. It's muddy. The slick conditions are still definitely going to have an effect in the second half. Back up to you.
Thanks a lot, Kara. It's good to see that you're halfway staying dry. 1st and 10, ball on the 39-yard line for Ayat in the offense. Ayat airs it out, kind of a wobbly pass, but boy, he almost hauled that in.
Great coverage by Noel Cole back there. He was stride for stride running with Jeremy Watkins right in his hip pocket, doing a good job in the second half of coverage.
Well, that's a matchup we talked about and that the Grizzlies were working a lot in the first half. This time there's nothing to it. Noel was right there to get a hand in at the end. The ball was thrown perfectly. If it was going to be caught anywhere, it was going to be right there.
That brings up a 2nd and long, 2nd and 10 to be exact. Ball on the 39-yard line. Less than 10 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. Now the Grizzlies go to the run, and they don't run very far with it.
Interesting that Brian Ayat would run that play to that side. It looked like the front of the Montana State Bobcats was kind of eagled over to that side. Looked like the hole was on his left side, as you can see right there, but he still chooses to run into that. A lot of times he'll make an audible and run over to the bubble where the hole looks a little bit bigger.
The Grizzlies, with just 2 yards rushing in the first half, still have not got their running game intact. That is 7 carries for 24 yards for Johanse Humphrey.
Once again, we talked about Noel Kubek making a great play on the pass. Shows right there, he comes up and runs support. We got 2 cornerbacks driving that man out of bounds.
I think what you've seen so far is just in the game is Montana State has been more successful on first down, allowing them more play choice on 2nd and 3rd and short, whereas the Grizzlies have consistently been in 3rd and longs all game long. Here's another one.
Looked like a false start there on 3rd and 8. That's going to back it up even more.
You know, we've talked continually about the penalties, and we've kind of beat it to death a little bit. But here, again, the 5 yards doesn't kill you, but the 3rd down, you've got 3rd and long to begin with. You throw 5 more yards, you really put pressure on your offense to make a play.
Amazingly, that's their 8th penalty, the Grizzlies, for 101 yards.
It puts so much pressure on the coordinators to call plays. I'm telling you, when you're sitting in a 2nd and short, you have your entire play sheet at your, you can do anything. And when you're in 3rd and long, you only have so many things to go to, and the defense knows that, so they can call a specific play and stop you.
3rd and 13, Ayat. Plenty of receivers, gets some good time, then lets fly, completed pass. It was completed.
That's all protection right there, Chris. That is absolute, not bad coverage downfield. Bobcats were there. I looked at all the routes, and they were on them. But, boy, Brian had a lot of time to throw. Great job, as you can see right there with protection. Able to hit a late stop route on the outside. That's just good line play.
You give Ayat and the receivers that much time, they're going to be able to get open.
Exactly. Raul Pacheco with his first catch in a while. He's been quiet, I think, since the touchdown and since the one that was almost maybe a touchdown, but that's his first catch in a while. Grizzlies need to get something going right now on first down. They need to have success on first down. Run the draw play.
Johanse Humphrey, nothing doing.
Connor.
Wow.
You can't say enough about that kid. He's been as solid. They've had some trouble on the defensive line. A lot of that was with some injuries early on that required him to put some people in there that weren't that experienced, but he has been a rock for him on defense. They run a little counter here. They lead with the guard, backside guard and tackle. He gets in their hip pocket, follows them down the line, and makes a great solo tackle.
Looks like they've been going to a lot more games up front, Mike. I've noticed they've been twisting quite a bit, whether they're twisting their defensive tackles or bringing the end inside and bringing the tackle around on a loop. That was another twist right there, which the guard kind of lost Ty O'Connor on it because he twisted and he made the great play.
No yards gained on that run. 2nd and 10. Ayat out of the shotgun with some time. Lets it fly. Completed pass there.
And look at how the Bobcats are rallying to the football. That's been impressive to me all day long. A short throw. Corner pretty much has him in his wraps, but the Bobcats are not satisfied. They want this football game badly, of course, and they rally to the football. Watch how many people end up on your monitor and rally to this ball.
Well, when you play the Grizzlies, you absolutely know flat out you've got to tackle. They throw the ball underneath, and hope that they can slip that first tackle and pick up big yardage, and they do it more often than not.
3rd and 5. Big 3rd down for the Grizzlies. They came up big on their last 3rd and 13. Ball on the 43-yard line of the Bobcats.
That's what we talked about, though. The Grizzlies are at least in a 3rd and short, which is a much better situation for them than the 3rd and longs.
Oh,
Another drop
pass, this time by Pacheco.
Josh Perkins there on the coverage. He's a little bit behind. He doesn't get the clean break on the out.
A lot of times in this situation, you'll see Mick Dennehy maybe even decide to go for it, but with the way Montana State's moving the football, you cannot risk giving Montana State the ball midfield again. They've got to punt.
Yeah, I don't think in a game like this, when it's still close, you want to take a chance and give the other team anything to get fired up about.
Drop balls have hurt the Grizzlies on both of their last 2 drives. Justin Olson has the drop over the middle, which could have been big. And now
Fair
Pacheco.
catch called for Oscar Caballero. 33-yard punt, no return. 6:52 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 21-14, Montana State leading the Grizzlies. Well, while we were at break, Montana State kind of fooled everyone here after the punt. Just came out with the no-huddle offense and ran a couple of plays and didn't get a whole lot. I think Kinnaman had a run, and then they completed a pass where Boomer had a big hit. That sets up 3rd and 9, ball on their own 14-yard line for the Bobcats. Third down, Compson with some time, lofts it up into the air, pretty spiral.
Oh,
almost picked off.
That time, I'm not sure. Let's see who the corner was on that play. Was that Calvin Coleman? Yeah. Great job of recognizing that again. Chris Coleman. Chris realizes, hey, they're going to go to this matchup again. They've worked it all day long. He takes off and gets deeper than the receiver. Didn't allow Caballero to get behind him. Almost makes the interception.
Colvin with the big interception in the first half when they were down in the red zone. Almost had a second there.
I guess that was Chip Hobbs, my fault. Forces the punt, which is a big stand for the Grizzly defense at this point.
4th and 9. Piot punting from his own goal line. Good protection. Piot gets off the punt.
Boy, those punts are beautiful. High, tight spirals. Gets them deep. And boy, who is that? What a great tackle by, is that Flores again? That's Duncan McLean. That's my boy right there, I think.
Walker with the return for the Grizzlies.
Boy, Walker had room too as you watch this. It almost looked like he was going to squirt up the sidelines for a big, big return. Good lead blocking there initially, but I think it is Flores, Mike. Yeah, right there.
I tell you, see those first 2 guys down for the Bobcats, they just can't make a break. It's tough to break down and be able to move when you've got that loose of turf.
Well, the Grizzlies need an answer. Bobcats have done everything they want to do defensively. They've scored 1 touchdown. Now the Grizzlies need to respond on offense.
There you see the score. 5 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Bobcats up 21-14. They go to the run. Nate Sanders, I believe his first carry in the game, and he fumbled it. He had a good run, broke some tackles, then I believe he fumbled it out of bounds. The Grizzlies will keep the ball.
He did. You know, it's interesting. The Grizzlies had success with the counter play earlier. They've run it once, and it got about 12 yards. They haven't come back to it. That's the first time they've come back to it again. I think on a slick field like this, a counter play is not a bad option because you've got defensive linemen sliding around. You can block down and pull people. Nate Sanders' first carry, fortunately that ball slipped out of bounds.
Picks up the first down on the carry, he does. That brings the ball to the Bobcats' 44-yard line. 4:53 left to go in the game.
It looks like, Chris, the Grizzly coaches have decided that maybe Johansi might be a little too young for this game yet as a freshman. They've gone with Nate Sanders, who's from Anaconda. Maybe understands the entire Bobcat Grizzly thing a little bit better, the rivalry, and they've gone with him here on this drive. See what he can do.
Grizzlies with 2 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen, 1 at the top. Sanders, your lone back. Ayat under center. First and 10. They go to Sanders again. Little bit of a hole.
Made a nice cutback. Good read by Sanders to knife back to the other side. The play started to the left, and you'll see him knife back and end up coming over the right side. Pretty good movement by the Grizzly O-line. They're starting to get off the ball a little bit better, but as you can see, it starts left, and then he weaves his way back to the right.
Picks up 3 on the carry.
A little bit of change of pace for the Grizzlies. Going with the run here. Let's see if they stick to it. I don't know if I've ever seen them run it 3 times in a row, have they?
Ayat out of the shotgun, 4 wideouts, 1 back beside him.
Here comes another stunt. Grizzlies pick it up.
Ball is tipped. That's happened a handful of times on Ayat.
It has. Is that Lundstrom that tipped that ball, or is that O'Connor?
Lundstrom was coming up the middle on the right side. They picked him up, chopped him a little bit. I'm not sure if he got back up and got a hand on it.
Mike, that was one of those guys you talked about at the beginning of the game would play a pivotal role. He's done just that.
You know, he's just done a great job for him all year and all last year, too. Grady and I talked earlier about it, watching him in the Wyoming game, where you're facing some pretty talented offensive linemen that can get out and they know how to run block, and he had a big game down there.
3rd and 7, ball on the 41-yard line for the Grizzlies. 3:51 left to go in the 3rd period. Down by 7 to the Bobcats. Ayat with some time, lets it fly, completed pass, I believe to number
That's
4.
That's Watkins again. Every time 3rd down and long, they go to Jeremy Watkins, and he's come up big so far in this game.
That'll move the chains.
You know, it's interesting every time you see Montana State blitz. They didn't on that play, but like on the play before, if you're watching Grizzly football over the years, you know that when a team brings a blitz, that either there's going to be a big play because there's people maybe running free against man-to-man coverage, or obviously you're looking at sack or pressure. And for Grizzly fans, that's been a treat because if they get the good play, that's great. But if they don't, Brian Ayat's probably going to scramble around and make something happen. Today with the slick field, he hasn't been able to scramble. I don't know if we've even seen him scramble, but just the one time.
Ball on the 30-yard line. High snap. Ayat hauls it in, though. Good job of doing that. Then he goes across the middle. Little too high. He was lucky that ball wasn't picked off after the tip by Watkins.
Once again, the Grizzlies do a great job of picking up the blitz here, especially with the high snap. It gets Ayat a little late start on this drop back, but the Cats Flores came from the safety position right up the middle, and they picked him up this time. Remember that time in the first half he came clean. I'm sure Ayat remembers that one too.
Well, Watkins is asking to come out of the game right there. I don't know if he's still hurting a little bit from his knee injury in the first half, or if he's just tired, but he came out, and Tigran Delaney, number 11, has come into the game now at wide receiver for the Grizzlies. They tried the middle screen, and Ayat just throws a short hopper. That's probably one of his worst throws of the day right there. He had him, he just threw it low.
That time the pressure was coming from the left side here. You see Sean Ross bringing a little bit of heat. Sean Ross from Stevensville.
Hey, the Bobcat D linemen have done a nice job, though. Even if he catches that ball, Jared Beakley, number 99, is right there. They've done a nice job of recognizing when a screen play is called, when those O-linemen leave a little bit early. I know our defense coordinator, Calswell, says, hey, it's not Christmas. Realize there must be a screen, and they turn and they get to that play quickly.
Sets up another 3rd down and long. The Grizzlies have been pretty effective at that in the second half. Mick Dennehy and the team needing a 1st down to move the chains, keep this drive going. Low snap to Ayat this time. Wobbly pass, but it's completed. That's going to be good enough for a 1st down.
Jimmy Farris, number 8. You've got some substitute wide receivers.
Another
in the
wide
game.
receiver coming in, making a big catch. I believe that's his 2nd of the game.
Yes, it is. Both from on third and longs. But right now, the snap's got to be a concern for Montana. That's maybe the 4th bad snap we've seen today.
Ayat's done a good job of hauling them in, whether they've been high or low. That time he does it on the low snap and then completes a pass to Farris for the 1st down. Another big 3rd down completion for the Grizzlies.
You can tell that the ball's wet and muddy, especially when it's maybe skipping off the turf like that. Brian Ayat, who normally throws a very tight spiral, the ball doesn't even have any rotation on it at all, so you can tell it's wet.
In the red zone are the Grizzlies for the first time late in the first half when that snap got away from Ayat. Another completed pass, but the defense was there to meet him.
Great defense by Noel there. Noel Kubek, again, we've talked about him a lot today. They worked that matchup with him with Watkins early, and he had some success the first half. The second half, Noel has played much better, stepped up his play, drives up here, makes a good open field tackle.
That pass completed to Tigran Delaney for 4 yards, sets up 2nd and 6, ball on the 14-yard line. The Grizzlies trying to tie this game at 21, just over 2 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Again, we talked about it in the first half. Look for Raul Pacheco. This time it looks like the Bobcats have coming up. They're going to jam him on the line of scrimmage, try to keep him off. Another bad snap picked up by Sanders, and he's going to make something out of it.
That is a great recovery by the Grizzlies there.
Wow.
Sanders has come in and had 3 pretty successful runs. He had the run for the first down off the counter. Then he made something out of nothing and gained 3 yards on a busted play, it looked like. And then another one here, picks up the ball that's just kind of rolling. And
well, that's a huge play. Brian Ayotte is under center, as you can see, but that ball obviously just slips out of the hands of the center. And boy, Nate Sanders, smart play, picks it up and gets something out of nothing. 1st and goal for the Grizzlies.
Bobcat defensive front was really coming up the field hard on that. They weren't looking for the run. That allowed Sanders the opportunity to make something happen in there. They just couldn't change direction quick enough.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Less than a minute and a half to go in the 3rd period. This time they go to Sanders again. Nothing doing.
Well, when the Bobcats make great plays, you can bet that there's a couple guys that are usually in there, and that's number 63, Ty O'Connor, and number 47, Kevin Lundstrom. I think Ty makes the first pressure here. Kevin comes up, finishes him off, getting some help inside underneath by the other linebacker, Joe Baker.
That's a couple of names we've called a number of times today, O'Connor and Lundstrom.
Interesting decision, play calling down here for the Grizzlies in the red zone to start that 1st down with the run. Now
3 wideouts at the bottom of your screen. 1 at the top, Sanders the lone setback. Ayotte under center. Watch for Pacheco here. He's been thrown to twice in the end zone. Not this time. Great pass. Ayotte really threaded the needle. Guess who catches that one? Jeremy Watkins with the touchdown.
Well,
what a throw, what a catch.
It was a great throw. You know, I said earlier that Brian Ayotte, he throws the fade well and he throws the slant. You'll see it right here. Takes a 3-step drop. He'll set his feet. Actually didn't even set his feet. Just planted and fired that slant in between 2 defenders. What a great throw.
A second later and it would have been picked off.
That's right. Steve Salo is coming over hard from the safety spot, but the throw beats him. He just clearly was beat from the throw.
Well, Montana counters the Bobcat touchdown. Now Hefner on to tie this game at 21. Just 33 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter.
Oh, he missed it.
He missed it.
He missed it.
Go figure. Chris Hefner, the kicker, with ice in his veins. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. I don't know if it was a snap,
the snap was
or
perfect.
A hold. It looked like everything went well.
He simply shanked
Just
it.
barely missed it. Well, that puts some pressure on the Grizzlies now.
Well, that's, you know, like, you take those for granted a lot of the time. In this game, you can't. The Bobcats proved that last year. They got themselves in trouble with it. Then, like you said, Hefner comes in and drives a nail in the coffin. It'd be a little unfortunate change of fate for him if this could come back and haunt him.
Ayotte with his 3rd touchdown pass of the game, but Hefner misses the extra point. Bobcats still lead this game 21-20.
Boy, the life of a corner, huh, Mike? I mean, Noah Kolbeck has had a great second half. He really has. But at any time, if you play the cornerback position in football, at any time, you can be made to look bad. And not that he made a bad play there, but that's just the nature of the position. And those guys know that. They're competitors, and he'll come right back and make great plays the next drive.
You're right. You know, it's not a place you want to play. You're on an island, and everything you do is seen by every fan, and they don't know when you're doing something right, but as soon as you do something wrong, everybody, you got 19,000 people here that thought that was his fault.
Hefner with the kick.
Oh,
what a stick.
Great stick. Great stick by the Grizzlies. I believe
that is going to fire up the
40,
crowd.
Dan Orizati.
Wow, Danny Orizati, player out of Butte Central. Butte America comes down and just makes a huge hit. Watch this on your screen, folks. This is
Had
football.
the wall set up. He just went right through him.
Great form tackle. Boy, if you're a young football player out there, huh, Mike? Take a look at this. This is breakdown.
That's
is
just
hit.
absolutely perfect. It just opens up and he lays it on him.
A former linebacker can appreciate a hit like that, Mike.
You gotta love that. That's a big play. He should be excited, especially in a game like this. You dream about stuff like that.
1st down and 10, ball on the 21. Thompson hands the ball off. Not a whole lot there. Montana's defense seems to be inspired a little bit after the touchdown and the big hit
That's
Leafy
Kelly
and
Bryant.
Tyler can't do anything with that carry.
Kelly Bryant for the Grizzlies. We haven't mentioned his name much today, but he's been doing a solid job on the inside. He just played off his block that time, stayed square, went to the football.
All right, well, after the Montana touchdown, that puts them within 1 after the Hefner missed extra point. 21-20, Montana State leading this game, trying to snap a 12-game losing streak to the Grizzlies.
Get ready for the fourth quarter on Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
Just 15 minutes remain in this ball game, barring overtime, and you never know in a game like this. 21-20, the Montana State Bobcats lead the Montana Grizzlies. What an entertaining 3 quarters we have had, guys.
Unbelievable football game, I tell you. What's nice about it in the second half is we talked about we've settled down. Both teams have a little bit. The penalties haven't been a factor. We've had some big hits. We've had some big plays. We're getting some great line play. It's just football like you can't ask for any better than this.
Second down and 8 from the 23-yard line. Thompson with some pressure, trying to get rid of it, throws a wobbly pass. It's picked off. That's Colvin again, his second interception down the sideline. Just stepped right in front of the receiver right there.
Well, you know, I've praised Thompson all day long. He's such a smart player. He's such a great leader. Early in the game, he got pressure. He leaked out, and instead of forcing it, he threw it out of bounds. Here, same situation. He's got pressure. He's being forced out, as you can see, but this time he tries to force it. Probably tried to make too much happen, and it's intercepted.
Something we haven't seen in the second half after Thompson had such an effective half of running the ball when getting pressured. There, he holds onto the ball, throws it, forces it instead of throwing out of bounds or just tucking it and taking a 1 or 2 yard gain. That time, he throws a ball that he shouldn't have.
That's exactly right. You know, sometimes as a senior, you're in your last Cat Grizz game, you're playing well, you want to win, your team's up, and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to make things happen. I'm going to win this game for my team. Sometimes maybe that's the biggest mistake you can make.
That gets the crowd into it, no doubt. Colvin with his second interception, 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for Ayat and the Montana offense. Johanse Humphrey breaks a tackle, tries to get out to the outside, maybe a yard on that play, not much more.
Well, a couple of Bobcats get to him initially on the line. Sean Flores comes up from the safety to finish him off.
The Bobcats are only playing 3 down linemen again. They're 3 linemen and 2 linebackers, but they are rallying to the football so well today. Initially, it looked like Johansi might have some good yardage, but boy, they close it up quick and get to the ball.
Gain of 1 on the carry sets up 2nd down and 9 from the 19-yard line. Just over 14 minutes remain in this ball game. 21-20, Montana State trying to break a 12-year losing streak to the Grizzlies. A playoff berth on the line in this ball game. Ayat. Oh, that ball's picked off. They return the favor.
Wow.
Looked like it might have been tipped by the receiver. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, if he just threw it right to him.
I think it's another drop ball. I think you're right. Right through the hands, up into the air.
Was that Robert Carter?
That was. Robert Carter comes up fortunate here. It's nice to mention his name like this. We got on him a little bit about biting on that screen play in the first half. He's just hanging around the ball, makes a heads-up play. Smart to get down with it, too. There's no use taking a chance on giving it back.
And looked like the receiver could have had that one.
Well, yeah, the happiest guy in America right now is Rob Thompson. Defense gets the ball back for him.
Thompson and the offense going right at it, not taking any time. 1st and 10 from their own 17-yard line. That turnover pivotal in this game, I'm sure. After no turnovers through the first 3 quarters, back-to-back interceptions.
One thing I saw that was really neat, after Thompson threw that interception, he's getting up off the turf, obviously a little dejected. He's got mud in his helmet. Right away, the defensive guys went to him, picked him up, encouraged him, patted him on the butt, said, hey, we'll get it back for you. That's good to see as far as team unity goes, and that's what they did. They got it back for him.
2nd and 7, ball on the 20-yard line. Bobcats with a 1-point lead. Man in motion. Handoff, nothing much there. Maybe out to the 21-yard line. Not a whole lot more.
That's that sweep play that the Bobcats had success on a couple times in the first half and a lot last year, but the Grizzlies do a good job. They stay square on the line of scrimmage. Colvin comes up and puts force on it and allows his defensive linemen and inside backers to flow to the football and shut it down.
Eric Kinnaman with the carry there.
Yeah, Colvin's having a couple good series here. He makes the interception. He's played pretty well. He had the one good coverage on Hobbs. There he comes up. We talked about them trying to run at the corners. Comes up, makes a great play.
Montana State spreading it out. 3 wide receivers at the top of your screen, 1 at the bottom. A lone setback. Thompson, fake, then throw. Incomplete pass. Would have been short of the first down anyway.
There was a play-action pass, and it was good play-action fake, man. He had linebackers holding inside. Again, he just threw the ball a little bit low. I think if he hits him standing up, he probably has the first down, but because he threw it low, forced the receiver to go down on the ground and get it. Wouldn't have had the first down anyways.
That sets up a 4th and 6 from the 21-yard line. Piot in to punt. This guy's had a great day punting the ball. A little bit of a pressure here, punting from the 5-yard line, but he punted from his own end zone and had a 45-yard beauty earlier. Walker takes the punt, has some blocks. Good gain there, down around the 42-yard line of the Bobcats. 40-yard kick, 16-yard return.
Man, Walker's done
Grizzlies get the ball back. 21-20 is our score here. 12 minutes, 13 seconds left to go. Stick around. Welcome back to Washington Grizzlies Stadium. What a game we have on hand for you. 21-20. No one's left the stadium. I'm sure everyone's staying tuned in at home. 1st and 10, ball on the 44-yard line for the Grizzlies. Down by 1. Nate Sanders gets some running room. This guy's had a great second half before finally being pushed out of bounds. Great run there.
Montana State came out in that 3-man down lineman front. That time, I think the linebacker Kevin Lundstrom stunts to the opposite side of the running play. Just a perfect call. Grizzlies happen to have the right play on that time. Sanders finds the running room because the linebacker was vacated.
Coming up toward the end of the game, we'll take a look back at a key play from the second half with the Western States Insurance play of the second half. There's already been a few.
Yeah, there has, and it's hard to pick one yet because there's still so much time left in the game, and there's so many things that are going to happen yet in 12 minutes.
1st down and 10, ball on the 23-yard line of the Bobcats. Ayat still has the ball. Good bootleg. Fooled a lot of people. Kind of stumbled, then he slides.
Interesting that the ref decided not to call him down. It looked like he slipped and hit the knee back here in the backfield. We'll have to watch on tape. Boy, he slips. Oh, you're not going to be able to see it.
It looked like the knee might have been down.
Ref was right there, though, and waved it off, said no. And the scary thing there for the Bobcats is if he doesn't slip, boy, he was running clean.
Again, that's why they're down here and we're up here.
Oh, he's clearly down.
Clearly down. What was amazing is the white hat, the official was right there. I mean, like 4 yards away.
Well, I think they're trying to make up for that umpire that knocked that one down for us in the first half.
Must be a Montana umpire.
There you go, yeah.
2nd and 8, ball on the 21-yard line. 1-point game. Ayat with some time. Lets it go across the middle of the field. Good reception, good defense there.
Good job by Sean Flores. He is a great player. I mean, I knew he was a good safety, but man, does he make plays for them. He reads this all the way. He's back in his 2-deep look, but he sees Ayat come across on the drag route, comes up from his safety position, makes a great tackle.
He's done a great job for him on defense all year. He's their leading tackler from the safety position and has really done a lot of things today. We've called his name on defense. We've called his name on special teams. It's been a great effort.
Have done such a good job at wrapping up the receivers after they catch the ball.
Yeah, and we talked about it. It's essential against the Grizzlies because they make so much yardage after they make that first guy miss.
3rd and 4, low snap again by Ayat. Big play here.
Oh boy, they tried to
really tell who he was going to.
Well, I think they tried to set up the tight end screen there, Chris, to Dallas Neal. They had a 4 wideout package, no backs, with Dallas Neal and the tight end. And tried to get him a screen, but read well. I'm trying to see who it is. D. Lyman makes a great play on it here.
But we got one defensive lineman. Let's see who that is. He's just got him wrapped up in there.
4th and 4 from the 17-yard line. That brings on Chris Hepner.
That's Kinnaman, senior from Miami. The Grizzlies, I think, were some of them you saw trying to.
Muddy field goal try is not going to get there.
No good. Hepner misses the field goal after missing the extra point. That would have gave them a 23-21 lead, but instead the Bobcats will take over on downs after the missed field goal. I'm not sure how far that was, maybe 34 yards?
I think so, but it was right. It was in the exact wrong spot. It was right in the middle, right where the muddiest part of the field is, and it just doesn't look like Hepner can get it to come up off of that turf, that muddy turf.
John, our stats guy who's done such a good job making us look good this afternoon, says it was a 34-yard field goal, but unfortunately for the Grizzlies, no good.
We talked about the life of a cornerback earlier. Well, the life of a kicker, you know, they stand around by themselves every day at practice, and no one really wants to talk to them or bother them. Then on Saturday, they expect you to come in and do everything right. Obviously, Hepner is a kid who's done that.
There you go, 21-20. Just over 10 minutes remain in this ball game. Come back for the exciting conclusion. We are back. Chris Fagan, Mike Callahan, and Grady Bennett up here in the booth, warm out of the light drizzle that's been going on all afternoon. 21-20, 1st and 10 for the Bobcats at their own 20-yard line. We talked about it during the break, guys. They need to get some first downs, keep Montana off the field.
Amazing play right there. Thompson trying to run the stretch play there. Slips down, still able to get the handoff into Lathan Tyler's hands, and he ends up making about 3 yards out of it.
You can see that section of the field that we're on now. It seems like we've played about the last 10 minutes there, and it's really getting chewed up. Both teams are having a real difficult time in there.
We talked in the break about what a great job the Bobcat defense has done. Twice in a row now, the Grizzlies have been in their red zone, and they've come up empty-handed. Great stands by Montana State's defense. Now their offense needs to get some first downs and start to move the football.
2nd and 7, ball on the 23, 9 minutes and 31 seconds to go. They hand it off to Tyler again. Not much there.
Tyler Martin swallows that one up. Good play initially, some penetration. Not sure who got the initial penetration, but somebody gets in there. That's Murdi again. Murdi has played well. Murdi gets in and allows Tyler Martin to stuff the play.
2 yards on that gain. That gives him 8 carries for just 18 yards after being so effective in the last few games. The Grizzlies have really done a good job.
Well, 3rd and 5, Chris. Again, the Bobcats don't mind being 3rd and medium like this. Better than 3rd and long. They've got a lot of things in their arsenal they can do. We'll see which one they choose this time.
3rd and 5, ball on the 25. The crowd really getting into it.
Looks like they're going to
Dump
go
off
middle
screen pass, but it was a little behind him, it looked like.
Tried to use the tight end, Frank Green, as you'll see. He comes out on the right side of the formation, shifts back and puts the receiver on the line of scrimmage. Then he comes across in motion, and he's going to go out and pick the corner out here and be the lead blocker on the screen. Bring the guard out, who throws a great block on Marcus Wilson. It just levels him, as you can see, but the connection just wasn't there.
Speaking of Marcus Wilson, I don't know if you could see, but he went to the sidelines grimacing in pain, holding his arm. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but he was in obvious pain as he left to go to the sidelines.
Well, he did a great job. It was his upfield pressure that took Hobbs out of his route and made him pull up a little bit.
Walker's done a good job on the return so far. He's not going to touch this one, though. Piot keeps it away from him. Punt rolls out of bounds, 39-yard punt. Out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Montana will take over again on offense. The last 2 times they've had good field position, but haven't been able to do anything. An Ayat interception, and then a missed field goal by Chris Hepner, and the Bobcats still lead this game 21-20.
Well, the Bobcat Grizzly game is always a hard-hitting affair, always, because the kids are going to pour everything, every ounce of energy they have onto that field. But I tell you, today, so far, I think the Bobcats have won the war of the hits. Dan Arzadi for the Grizzlies had that one big hit on the kickoff, but boy, the Bobcats have come to hit.
1st and 10, 2 wide outs at the top, 1 at the bottom. They hand off Nate Sanders. Couple of yards maybe on the play.
Sean Flores again coming up from that safety spot, making a big tackle. He is an impressive safety for the Montana State Bobcats.
You got to give a lot of credit here to Selich. He plays off his block. He reaches out with one hand, slows him up, and allows Flores to come in and finish him off. That's just a great defensive line play. When you've got a blocker in your face like that, to be able to keep your hands free is so important.
You know, it's interesting when you look at the Montana State D-line down there. They've played a lot of people. The one guy that has been consistently in there, of course, Kyle Connor. He is absolutely a muddy mess. Everybody else has got still some white on their jersey.
No gain by Sanders there. 2nd and 10. Ayat had a little bit of time. Not enough, though. The pocket closed in.
Well, the Bobcats, the pressure didn't come quickly, but they did a good job of getting a good contain rush here. If you watch, you can see Ross comes from the left side. In 98, Selic again comes from the outside, does a little loop outside, and still maintains contain. If you can keep him in the pocket, you've got a shot at him. You do not want Brian Ayat running out on the corner.
That is the 5th sack of the game for the Bobcats. First one in a while, though.
It is. And now again with 3rd and long, and that's like we talked about just where the Montana State Bobcats want the Grizzlies. 3rd and long.
Another high snap. Ayat goes across the middle. What a great catch. He threw it behind him.
Jimmy
Farris has come up big 3 times on 3rd down. Ayat just got rid of that. It looked like it was behind Farris. Farris did a great job of catching it.
We'll have to see
almost
this on
while
replay.
He was setting down.
The defensive backs for Montana State are saying, no way, no way. And a lot of times they have the best view of it. We'll have to see it on replay here. What a great catch. Wow.
He hauled it in.
He got it.
Great catch
That's
there.
another big 3rd down conversion for the Grizzlies this half.
Gives them a 1st down near midfield. In fact, to be exact, on the 49-yard line of the Bobcats. Ayat, 25 for 46, 284 yards in the game, 3 touchdowns. This time, receiver falls down.
Pretty good coverage there by Noel Kubek. Watkins did go down, but he was right there. He may have made the catch if he stayed up, but he'd have sure taken a hit.
That ball was intended for Jeremy Watkins, but he had no chance of it as he fell down.
That's a scary throw as a quarterback. When you let that ball go and you think you've got a timing route, you're going to throw it right when he makes his break to the out. You let it go, he falls down, and you hold your breath, hoping that defensive back doesn't get an easy Christmas present from you.
Well, coming up at the end of the game, we will choose a player from each school as our Tire-Rama players of the game. Not exactly sure who it's going to be because so many guys have played big games so far. 2nd and 10, ball still on the 49. They go to the run. Sanders has been the primary ball carrier in the 2nd half. First half they went with Johanse Humphrey. Now Sanders getting the carries. Not a whole lot there, though.
Lundstrom and Steve Salo on the stop there, doing a good job coming up from his safety position to help out.
5 carries, 38 yards on the day for Sanders.
You see Salo coming up hard here, makes a good collision there and is able to hold on.
Here we are again in the 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 8. And this is, again, been one of those scary situations for the Grizzlies, but they've been able to convert the last couple 3rd and longs.
3rd and 8, ball on the 47, less than 6 minutes to go in this game. The 98th meeting between these 2 rivals. Ayat out of the shotgun, has plenty of time, rifles one, receiver falls down again, he short hopped it. That brings up 4th down. What do you do here?
Oh, you got to kick it. 5:41. I mean, you're only down by 1 point. Play the field position game, try to pin them deep. Montana State has not moved the ball very well. They've had that one drive. For the last few drives, the defense has played well. Try to pin them deep and get the ball back in good field position.
Looks like Ayat just didn't have much on that throw. 5:41 left to go. The Bobcats trying to end a 12-year drought against the Grizzlies. That's all they have to do. They're 5:41 away from doing that. Punt goes into the end zone. The Bobcats will start at their own 20-yard line, a 46-yard punt. 5:34 remaining in this game. The Bobcats up 21-20. We'll be back with 4th quarter action. We are back at Washington Grizzly Stadium. What a game we have had this afternoon. We knew it was going to be good, but I'm not sure if we thought it was going to be this good.
Well, I don't think anybody thought that we'd be 21-21, maybe 41-40, but the defenses have played surprisingly well today. We talked about it before the game. They had to step up, and they really have.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Important drive for both teams here. The Bobcats want to get some for fumble on the snap. I'm not sure who got it. Montana, of course, they're signaling that they got it. Yeah, they did. The referees are saying the Grizzlies came up with the ball. You have to blame that on a wet ball.
Well, you do. You know, it's doggone it. It's a hard thing to come in. I guess you've been cold. You've been standing on the sideline. But what I think you want to notice on this play is the snap obviously doesn't get there. It falls right down. But watch Kelly Bryant. He's going to shove the center so far back on his bull rush. Thompson cannot pick the ball up. It allows Adam Boomer to slide in. That's unbelievable job by Kelly Bryant right there.
Great eyes. Well, Montana's been down here a couple of times and hasn't been able to do anything with it. An interception by Ayat, his only of the game, and then a Hefner missed field goal. So the Bobcats could still come up big again. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. The Grizzlies still have all 3 timeouts left. The Bobcats with just 2. Ayat rolls out, dumps it off, completed. Oh, a broken tackle.
Dallas Neal, what a play, what a run by Dallas Neal.
Montana.
Dallas Neal with an unbelievable effort to get in the end zone, not only to break the first initial tackle, but to launch his body and get across the goal line.
Mike, we talked about it just a few minutes ago, how well Montana State had been doing at tackling the Grizzly receivers. There, it comes back to really haunt him, a missed tackle.
It really does, and a guy who's been just doing a great job all day, and that's Sean Flores. He's been around the ball, he's tackled well, he's covered well. You know, that's just a tough break for him.
Now, Chris, of course, the Grizzlies have to go for 2 since they missed the extra point. So you'll get a 2-point try right here, which is a crucial play in the game. We're kind of setting up to come down to, you know, last year's finish. Really, the Bobcats will have a chance to go down, and if the Grizzlies don't get this, we could end up with the same type late game situation as we did last year.
Ball on the 3-yard line, 26-21. Ayat with the pass, completed. Is that Nate Sanders?
Nate Sanders
it is. Out of the backfield, 28-21. Hard to see from here who had that. It is Sanders. That gives the Grizzlies a 7-point lead, so that Hefner missed PAT doesn't come back to harm them. That gives the Grizzlies a 7-point lead. 5:21 left to go in this game. Oh boy, what a game. Do not go anywhere. We will be back with the conclusion of this ball game. 28-21 Grizzlies. What an electric atmosphere it is right here. Here's our Western States Insurance play of the second half. So many big plays have been made, and I'm sure some more are going to be made, but this is our Western States Insurance play of the second half. This Dallas Neal touchdown gives the Grizzlies the lead in the second half. Now the kickoff, Montana is all over it. This team is fired up. The crowd is fired up. That guy's fired up. He's sat here through the whole rain and cold day for his Grizzlies.
That's just great kickoff coverage there. There's nothing going there for the Bobcats. And once again, we're back in the Mud Bowl where we seem to have played the whole second half. This is right where we had the trouble with the snap the last series for the Bobcats, and they've really got to be conscientious about taking care of the football.
That is a great point, Mike. Listen to the crowd. They can almost sense the victory.
This is where Rob Thompson needs to just settle his teammates down, be the leader that he's been for his entire career. He knows how to do it. He's just got to relax, get it done on this drive.
1st down and 10 at the 16. Thompson lets it go across the middle.
Good call by the offensive coordinator.
Very
right
good
there.
call.
Just a little, I mean, they go with the spread package, but a little release by Lathian Tyler out of the backfield. Real safe throw. Get Rob some confidence back. Good play call. Now they're in 2nd and short, moving the football.
2nd and 1. No need to panic. There's still 5 minutes left to go in this game. 2nd and 1 out of the shotgun. Thompson.
Throw just a little bit behind the intended receiver, Chris Williams right there, running a little out route, short out route from the inside slot receiver trying to get the first down. Throw was just a little bit behind.
That last scoring drive by the Grizzlies, just one play, 18 yards after the fumbled snap by Thompson, an 18-yard touchdown pass to Dallas Neal, Ayat's 4th touchdown of the game. Then they go for 2. They get that. with a Nate Sanders reception,
Think sneak right here.
28-21. Hard to tell.
Oh, it's going to be close,
It's going
Chris.
to be really close.
They're
I'm
not giving him
sure
a
if he
great
got
spot.
it.
They're not giving him a very good spot. I think the Grizzlies anticipated the sneak because they did that a lot in the first half. Out of that spread package, it's really the only option you have with no back in the backfield. And the Grizzlies may have stopped it. We're going to get a measurement here, which is going to be enormous.
I tell you, from where they've got the ball spotted, I think he's coming up short.
It looked like the two side officials had that ball spotted even shorter than that. The head referee, it looks like, moved it forward a little bit, but it's going to be close.
The biggest measure of the year right here for Montana State.
Andy Pedic says no,
Oh,
and he's
there
right.
He's short.
Interesting decision for Cliff Heisel. Interesting decision right here. Looks like he's going to go right now. Initially, anyways, they're thinking about going.
You would assume you would have to.
I think we're going to take a timeout and think about this one possibly.
4th and 1, ball on the 26-yard line after picking up 9 yards on the first down. Cliff Heisel's ball club can't get that extra yard on 2nd or 3rd down. That brings up a 4th and 1, down by 7 with 4:32 left to go at the game. Look at the referee trying to dry the ball off. Mike mentioned it earlier. It seems like this whole second half, Montana State has been in this part of the field where it's the worst.
Well, I think they are going to go for it. And if they do go for it, it's more than likely going to be something off this left side if they try to run the ball, because there's just no footing to the right. They got to get outside the hash and try and get something upfield. I talked to Coach Heisel last night, and he said this is a situation where they're a little bit down from last year, where they don't have the big back that can get the hard yard for them. Both their backs, very good running backs, but light. They're more of a scat back type kid. They're not going to bowl it in there and get you the hard yard.
The interesting thing about this decision, guys, is there is still 4.5 minutes left, and maybe if you punt it, you've got the best punter in the league right now, probably. If you punt it, the Grizzlies aren't a running team. Are they going to stay with their throwing? They're up by 7. Are they going to stay and stop the clock? Or are they going to try to run the football, which you've stuffed all day? Now maybe you win a field position game back if you can stop them, make them punt, and now you've got the football out of this mud hole here that they've been in all half with maybe 2 minutes left or 3 minutes left. So it's an interesting decision right here.
That's a great point, Grady, but then you also have to worry that you won't get the ball back.
That's right.
And that's always got to be with your fear with the Grizzlies, because every time you give them the ball, you know they can
Montana
score.
stacking the line.
Travis Wright, the fullback, and I don't know if he got it.
I'm not sure he got it. Montana looked like they were all over that.
They ran the same play, guys, that they ran on the goal line for the touchdown earlier. Same motion, same set, and instead of sweep it, they just give it to the fullback straight up the middle. But you'll see Jason Miller fills the hole right here and says, gonna try to not let you have that first down.
No initial word yet. We said minutes ago that was the biggest measurement of the year. Well, I take that back.
It was then, and this is now.
Didn't get it.
He's short. Mere inches.
Jason Miller with a huge play. And you can see Coach Dennehy right now, his defense is celebrating. They're doing mudslides. He's saying, hey, get off the field. There's still 4.5 minutes left. There is so much that can happen in a football game. Yeah, you want to be happy. Great play by your defense, but, man, you cannot celebrate too early.
Montana's been down here before and threw an interception and missed a field goal, and they're not in the best part of the field.
That's exactly right. Now, if you're Montana, you got to worry about a bad snap, a fumbled snap. You're in this muddy part. What are you going to do with your offense? So exactly, they still have a lot of work to take care of here.
Montana takes over, 1st and 10, ball on the Bobcats' 26-yard line, 4:27 left to go in this game, 28-21 Grizzlies. The pitch out to Sanders.
Little sweep play, something the Grizzlies don't run very often at all. But I think, as Mike just mentioned about that part of the field, they're probably thinking, hey, the only possibilities we have are to run to this side of the field, the short side, because it's the only good footing in this area.
Yeah,
that's good for the Bobcats.
Just a mess in that middle.
Because maybe they could go out of bounds. The Bobcats only have one timeout. We mentioned when they took their first one so early in the second half that might come back. Just one timeout remaining. The Grizzlies, on the other hand, have all 3 of theirs, but they're in no need to stop the clock.
Interesting play calling here by Coach Pease to see what he's going to do. Is he going to go for the throw here and really go after it, or is he going to be a little more conservative? Looks like they're going to run the counter play.
Sanders spinning and not gaining much, but not fumbling the ball, the most important thing for the Grizzlies.
Well, we've said it. It seems like we've been saying it all day long, but Ty O'Connor, Kevin Lundstrom, there for the Bobcats.
They're great players. And the clock's being stopped here, which not for a Montana State timeout, but for some reason, which obviously is going to thrill the Cats. That helps them out a lot. Now, if you're thinking about setting up a field goal, if you're going to be conservative here and maybe kick it, now you got to think about, again, field position, because that's a bad spot. We've seen Hefner miss one a few series ago from that exact same spot. So if you are going to set up a field goal, you maybe got to think about field position as well.
Or a blocked field goal.
Well, I think the Grizzlies, their bread and butter is throwing the football, and I think they're going to put it in the air here.
3rd and 8, ball on the 24-yard line. Less than 3 minutes to go in the game, and Ayat will call timeout instead of forcing something.
Okay, those are 2 things that help the Bobcats right there. First, there's a quick stoppage of the clock by the refs to get a new ball in, saves a few seconds. Now Brian Ayat has to burn a timeout. Those 2 things right there can come to help the Bobcats down the road.
Yeah, that's really unusual that he would have to waste a timeout there just because the play clock was going down when they'd had the play clock stopped when they did bring in the new ball.
All right, well, it's time for our Tire-Rama players of the game. It wasn't an easy choice. We had many discussions up here in the booth. On Montana, it was a little bit easier of a choice. Brian Ayat with 4 touchdown passes. No doubt the senior came up big, and we knew he would.
Well, we talked about it in the pregame, how he makes plays, how he leads this team. He's such a great leader. When things are going bad and things are going good, he stays even keel, and he did that today.
On defense, a tough choice. We thought about the whole Montana State defense. They did such a good job. And Lundstrom, but we went with Ty O'Connor, Mike.
Ty O'Connor has just been a warrior, not only today, but all season for the Bobcats. He's a 41-game starter. He's been around the ball all day. He's dominated in the trenches there. He's just really been a workhorse. He's kept those linebackers free. It's been a great effort for him.
Ayat's going to go under center, 3 wideouts at the top, man in motion. 3rd down and 8, ball on the 24-yard line. They're going to pass. It's picked off. It's picked off.
He could go.
Oh my! Ayat jumps in front of him, can't get him. They finally bring him down at the 45-yard line of the Grizzlies. What a big play by
Kevin
Montana
Lundstrom.
State. Just as soon as we named Ty O'Connor the defensive player of the game, Lundstrom does that. Oh my, it looked like they tried to go to Sanders out of the backfield. That had worked earlier.
Well,
they read it perfect.
I'm officially taking my vote back. I've changed my vote to Kevin Lundstrom. It was close before. We talked about Kevin in the pregame. We've talked about him all game. He's done a great job. He just did exactly what we talked about. He forced something to happen. He made a big play, and now he's giving him his offense a chance to go down and tie this football game.
Out.
Here's a tricky package by Montana
7
State.
wide receivers, 3 guys blocking. It looks like Montana will just bring 2. They go across the middle to Hobbs. He catches it, trying to break a tackle. He's past midfield, about to the 48-yard line. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Well, I knew Montana State had it in their package. They've used it before in the Cat Grizz game. They used it early a couple years ago. They came out in it, went right to it, caused the Grizzlies some problems early. What a great job here to wait till the end of the game. When the game's on the line, all of a sudden shift to it and really cause the Grizzlies problem. You can't take timeouts and adjust now.
They lined up in a normal formation, then everybody spread out. They went with 7 wide receivers. Now Compson out of the backfield. It looked like a flag, and they whistled it dead. I'm not sure.
I think that's going to be Frank Green. He got off a little early there, trying to get on the block or a pattern. I'm not sure which, but it looked pretty clear.
Boy, big players again. We said early, big players step up in big games and make big plays. That's what's so fun about athletics and competition. And here you have a leader for the Bobcats for his whole career, Kevin Lundstrom, steps right in front of that pass. What a big play.
Just when we thought Montana might try to run out the clock, they do what they always do, which is pass, and right there it came back to haunt them on the interception.
Well, people will be on them about that, saying it's a bad call, but the bottom line is that's their game. They live and die in the pass. And you got to stick with what you do. You can't try and play against the other team.
1st and 15, ball on the Grizzly 47. Thompson with plenty of time. Now he airs it out.
Great
Hobbs
coverage.
almost had it.
Chris Colvin again.
Colvin has been everywhere in the secondary. He had one interception called back because of a penalty. Then he got Thompson later in the second half. That time, good coverage on the bigger Hobbs.
Again, I think if you look at this throw, we've talked about it before, if it's thrown deep enough, possibly, but he throws it a little bit short, forces Hobbs to stop and jump up for it instead of running underneath it.
Lathy and Tyler out of the game. Thompson getting the play from the sidelines. He's 15 for 33, 154 yards and a touchdown, one interception. 2nd and 15, ball on the 47-yard line. 5 wide outs. Ball is fumbled on the snap. He gets rid of it, then gets it to the outside, breaks a tackle, can't get out of bounds, I don't believe.
Keeps the clock running, which is big. Montana State now is going to have to decide soon here.
Got a couple of extra yards, but couldn't get out of bounds.
Exactly. In this case, boy, in your 2-minute offense, you want to get as much as you can, but you have to get out of bounds. Now, as you can see, the clock's still running. 10, 15 seconds are going to wind off here. Crucial.
Pick
3rd
up
down.
with 10 on the play. 3rd and 5, ball on the 43-yard line. Down by 7 are the Bobcats. Thompson with time. Throws it, almost picked off.
Damon Parker.
Boy.
Damon Parker. They tried to run the little out route again from the slot to Chris Williams. We've seen that before earlier in the game. But Damon Parker makes a great break on the ball and almost returns a favor and intercepts this.
Yeah, Thompson looks to him early. He wasn't open, pumped once, and decided to go back. I don't know that he was ever open on that route.
Well, here's the
Never
game.
really looked away.
Here's the game, boys. It's 4th down and 4 with only 1 timeout. If they don't convert this, the
Play
Grizzlies can
clock
run the
down
clock
to
out.
15. 4th and 5.
Ball
Another
short
bad
snap again.
Gets
Going
rid of
deep.
it.
Incomplete.
Incomplete.
Chris Colvin again, Chris. We've called his name so many times. One more time, he makes a great play.
He has done such a good job. I believe that ball was intended for Hobbs. Montana starts to celebrate a little bit. It seems like they've had Hobbs, but the throws just haven't been there.
You're right. And, you know, we talked about it. Here's another snap. Bad snap. I know it's hard for those centers. The field is so bad. But when you pick the ball up as a quarterback, now it's bounced in the mud twice. You're dealing with mud. You're dealing with grass. You're dealing with water. Now you try to throw a good deep ball. I tell you what, it's hard. And that's exactly what happened to Thompson a couple times right there, forcing some bad throws.
Well, 1st and 10 now for the Grizzlies. They take over on their own 43-yard line. A minute 34. It looks like they're just going to maybe take a kneel.
Well, the Bobcats have got to go get him. They can't let him just run the clock out standing
A
up.
flag on the play.
big
It looks
play.
like a late hit.
Big play.
Certainly
right there.
not what you need right there.
You know, that's a tough call for the Bobcats. He's standing back and they're waiting for him to come get him. And when they do come, then he takes the knee. You can't slow yourself up at that point.
That's a tough situation. I know you kind of tease the guy and you stand there, and then all of a sudden you drop your knee. It's tough for those guys to hold up, especially in a slick field like this.
They're going to march that one up. It's going to go into Bobcat territory. Not that it really matters right now, because the clock is the key in this game right now.
Well, the Bobcats still have 1 timeout, but the fact that that gives them another 1st down should seal it. If that's a 2nd down play, maybe if we count seconds, it may have a chance at forcing a punt. But now, the only thing the Bobcats can really hope for is a bad snap and a fumble.
Ayat takes the knee. That'll make it 2nd down. Clock still ticking. Bobcats with just 1 timeout left in the game. A minute 15 to go.
And now they finally take it, but they let about 15 seconds run off the clock. I don't understand that.
That was poor time management on their part. I think they were a little bit waiting to see what the Grizzlies were going to do, if they're going to come line up or not. I don't know why they would wait for that.
Yeah, you've got 1 left. You've got to use it. I mean, that's your only option. Now, for 2nd down, 1:14. Still without running a play. The fact that Ayat is just kneeling is still, I think, going to force a 4th down. which the Grizzlies may still have to punt with about, let's see, 7 or 8 seconds left. So it's still going to be interesting.
I really don't think they're going to, if they get in that situation, I don't think they'll punt the ball. I think if they do even snap it back there, they'll just
Run around.
try and kill it and drop to a knee again. I don't think the Bobcats are going to see the football again.
A minute 14 left to go. The Bobcats just used their third and final timeout. Second down and 14. Ball on the Grizzlies' 47-yard line. 28-21 is the score. The Grizzlies trying to extend their winning streak over Montana State to 13. Cliff Heisel has seen his team play so well in this game. Just a few plays here and there.
Well, that's what's so sad for the Bobcats. They've just got to feel a little bit snaked. That they came in, they played well, they did what they have to, and then you lay a snap on the ground and it goes the other way. It's an unforced error. You've got to feel like you're beating yourselves, and that's the most frustrating thing, to walk away from something like this, especially when they felt that way last year. That's a long year coming when you feel like that you made little mistakes that cost you a ball game like this.
Less than a minute to go. 3rd and 17. Ayat takes a knee. That'll force 4th down, but it's not going to matter.
By the time they get the ball set, I think that's going to do it right there.
Listen to the crowd.
Every single kid on that Montana State sideline can feel proud. They played their hearts out. They played well.
Yeah, they really did. We built this game up because it had such huge ramifications. It lived up to all its billing. Both these teams came out. They played hard the whole game. Bobcats, once again, are going to walk away disappointed, feeling like they had a shot. And they were in this game. And they got to feel like they cut their own throat a little bit.
28-21 is your final score. That makes it 13 in a row for the University of Montana Grizzlies over their arch rival, the Montana State Bobcats. What a game. We'll be back right after this. Guys, we talked about this being a playoff game atmosphere, and it was for a playoff spot. Montana State will not win the Big Sky Conference. Montana still can if Idaho State knocks off Northridge. That game is later this evening. Of course, they'll be watching that, but either way, it looks like Montana will probably go to the postseason and might even host a first-round game.
Yeah, they obviously would have loved to win the conference, and if they do, great, but I don't think their concern is there right now. They're just happy that the season started out ugly for the Grizzlies. There was some question marks. The defense was struggling. They couldn't stop the run. And over the last 5 games, they've turned it around. They've played very, very well. And now they're in a position where they can make the playoffs again for the 6th straight year. So that's their main concern right now. Whether they're at home or on the road, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that is what's important. I think the chances of Idaho State, who's really struggled and has gone through a difficult year with a bunch of real young kids and their coach and athletic director being fired in the middle of the season, I think they're going to have a tough time at going down to Sac State and getting a victory there. But nonetheless, the Grizzlies, bottom line, they did what they needed to do today. They controlled their own destiny as much as they could, and they've gotten themselves in the playoff with a great victory over the Bobcats.
This team struggled early on for them, but have really picked it up later in the year. And if Montana State, of course, they always play at the end, but maybe if they would have played in the beginning when Montana State was playing their best, it might have been a different outcome.
Oh, there's no doubt. And in fact, if this game this year is in Bozeman, it's probably a different outcome. I really want to, again, give a lot of credit to the Montana State coaching staff and their players. They did a great job. I was impressed with their game plan on both sides of the ball. The kids played their hearts out. I mean, you feel for seniors like Lundstrom and O'Connor. And, I mean, there's so much work that goes into this. And it's been so long for the Cats without a loss. It hurts. And they played their hearts out, and I'm proud of those kids.
Dejected, I'm sure, but still another winning season. And Heisel has really got the program going in the right direction, it seems like. And they just can't get over this hump of beating Montana, Mike.
Well, Coach Heisel has said it before, they knock on the door, and it's time to kick it in. They didn't get the door kicked in today.
We're going to send it downstairs to Kara Capano, who has the winning quarterback, Brian Ayotte.
Thanks, you guys. I'm standing here with Brian Ayotte. Brian, this has got to be an incredible feeling right now.
Oh, it's the best victory we've ever had. We came in just fired up, ready to play this game, and I got to thank the Lord for giving us this opportunity, and without him, this wouldn't be possible.
Tell me, Brian, about your excitement. It's your 6th year in the playoffs, possibly.
I mean, I'm a senior. It's my last time I'm going to be a Grizzly, and I just can't wait to just go as far as we can go.
I have a feeling the Grizzlies will be watching that Northridge Idaho State game tonight.
We're not too worried about what Northridge does. We're pretty sure we got in the playoffs by this victory, and that's all that matters.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Right back up to you guys.
All right, great job, Kara. Thanks a lot. I tell you, the announcement will come tomorrow, I believe at 11 o'clock is when they announce the pairings, and everyone seems to think that Montana could host a first-round game, what with the facilities and the crowd that they get. And that announcement will be made about 11 o'clock. I know the team's going to go to the press box and watch it and see what their fate has for them. But they finished the regular season 8-3, 6-2 in the Big Sky. Montana State, on the other hand, drops to 7-4, 5-3 in the Big Sky. Both teams with great seasons, and you can't take anything away from either.
Again, I've said it, from the beginning of the telecast. I know there's a lot of people that you're a Cat or a Grizz and you cheer for one team or the other, and you hope the other team, just loses all their games. But I don't think so. If you're a true Montana football fan, and there's Montana kids playing for both schools, you want it to come down to this every year. I hope it's this way every single year. It's for the conference championship. It's for playoffs. It's for first and second. Let's showcase Montana athletes.
I'm with you on that, Grady. I'd love to have the same setup when we go down to Bozeman next year. Looking forward to it.
I want to thank everybody in the truck. The guys in the truck did a great job. John, our stat guy. Thank you, Grady. Thank you, Mike. I'm Chris Fagan. Everyone have a great evening.
Now, back to Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
I recently caught up with Dallas, who now resides in Arizona with his family after owning the Source Gym here in Missoula for 10 years. Dallas, Ayotte, and the rest of those 98 Grizzlies advanced to the 1AA playoffs once again that season before ultimately losing to Western Illinois. As always, thanks for joining us for this week's Grizzly Gridiron Classic. Next week, we'll revisit a game at the turn of the century when the Grizzlies topped Sac State in 2000 in shocking fashion. We'll see you then.
98 was a tough year. I mean, it was cold and muddy, and the weather was definitely an impact for the game, and speed was at our advantage. And we couldn't use speed in that game because it was just too slippery. I remember changing out cleats to get the longest cleats you could possibly get without breaking any rules, and we were trying to do anything to do that. And I do remember when we were down, and you always had this thing in the back of your head that was like, this matters. We're going to be talking about this for 20, 30 years.
Now, back to Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
The conditions were anything but perfect for the 1998 meeting between Montana and Montana State's football teams. And in a wet and muddy stadium on a cold November day, Dallas Neal and the Montana Grizzlies gave UM fans another thrilling performance in this storied rivalry. The Great Falls native Neal and former quarterback Brian Ayotte both remember distinctly the disadvantages to that day with its poor conditions.
It was cold and muddy, and the weather was definitely an impact for the game, and speed was at our advantage. And we couldn't use speed in that game because it was just too slippery.
It was a mud bowl. I remember diving in the mud at the end of the game. That was an interesting game. It was just raining a lot. It was muddy. The conditions were horrible. I remember thinking, why are we throwing the ball so much? I can hardly grip it.
As it did the year prior in 1997 in Bozeman, the 98 game in Missoula came down to the wire as the Bobcats knocked on the door of breaking their losing streak to the Grizz. Up 21-20 late in the game, a costly Bobcat turnover gave Montana the ball back. Then, with just over 5 minutes to play, Neal and Ayotte connected for an iconic moment in Grizz football history.
Oh, a broken tackle.
Dallas Neal, what a play, what a run by Dallas Neal.
Montana!
So I remember jumping to go over the goal line, and you kind of get up and you're like, did I make it? And then you look up at the crowd and Monty's grabbing me and you're like, I guess I made it. And it was exhilarating. It was definitely a high moment to build up to that point and then actually, have that victory and continue that streak and that legacy.
Even when trailing, Neal said the confidence within the team was that this was UM's game to win.
Where we would bring in former players and they would talk about how they overcame things for that week of Cat Week. And so there was this confidence that you took into that game that it's we're winning, and we had that behind us. Everybody knew we were going to find a way to win.
But as time has passed, Neal said the game offered him a different perspective as well. Specifically, when he walked by the family of his high school teammate Rob Compson, who played for the Bobcats. Their tears and emotions after losing that game stuck with Neal, as he knows just how bittersweet the rivalry matchup can be on both sides of the ball.
I think seeing the tears of people that you loved on the other side, it was no longer, I can't wait to beat you. It was more like, there's just so much legacy in this game and it means so much that it hurts as much as it feels good to win. And so, yeah, you just felt both things at the same time, yeah.
Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.